Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, the 3-time NBA champion Miami Heat, home of the 5-time national champion Miami Hurricanes, and Miami Hurricanes basketball.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Headlines are brought to you by Doral Volkswagen, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Volkswagen or DoralVolkswagen.com. The U.S. women's hockey team defeated Canada 2-1 in overtime for the gold medal yesterday. The men, they faced Slovakia at 3:10 in the semifinals today, while Canada and Finland battled a little bit earlier at 10:40. The 5-0 Miami Hurricanes baseball team, we will host a 4-game weekend series starting today at 7 against Lafayette. Canes men's basketball team look to make it 5 in a row tomorrow at 2 when they take on 14th-ranked Virginia on the road, and the Miami Heat return to action tonight at 7:30 against the Hawks. Tyler Hero is probable coming back from a rib injury, while Norman Powell and Keyshawn Johnson are questionable. I am Dan Day, and it is time now for the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
And a very good morning. Welcome in here on this Friday on WQAM. Joe's out today, so that cues the B team, Omar. I am Hollywood. Omar Kelly is with us. Dan Day is with us as well. Jamie driving the digital portion of our show. Good morning, Omar. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I know you don't like being called the B team, but you've been called from the bullpen. You are up with us here this morning. We have our usual Football Friday in the 9 o'clock hour. We got Mike Florio is going to join us. Omar, I know you're a big fan of Mike. I know you like having that conversation.
Love it
every week. It never gets quiet here in the NFL, and the Dolphins made a lot of news this week. We will certainly get to that with you, Omar. But Dan set the table beautifully with that update. We got a lot of stuff going on here starting today. We got the hockey in the afternoon. We got the USA hockey team's going to play. We got let's see here. The Heat are back. We got Canes baseball. We got Canes basketball tomorrow. So we got a lot of stuff going on here on a busy sports weekend. And Omar, it gets started for me tonight. I'm going to see. I don't know if you consider this sports or not, but I'm going to see SmackDown at the Amaranth Bank Arena tonight. So the wrestling is in town. So I don't know if you consider that sports entertainment, I think is what they call it. But that'll be my evening here tonight.
Okay. Are the kids into wrestling?
The oldest one is. So I'm taking him tonight. I don't know a ton of the new wrestlers. I know John Cena just retired, but that's my plan for tonight. And then for me this weekend, I don't know if you've done this one yet, but Monster Jam is in town. So Monster Jam is going to be at Lone Depot Park on Saturday and Sunday. I don't know if you've done Monster Jam.
Is that the car crashing stuff?
This is the monster trucks, and this is big for the little kids. So my youngest has been begging to go see the monster trucks, see Monster Jam. So we are going to go do that this weekend again at Lone Depot Park. So Monster Jam is in town. So there's a lot of stuff here going on this weekend, Omar. But that's where my weekend is going to take me. You have any big plans this weekend?
I have a 5-year-old birthday party on Sunday.
Nice.
That's about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those birthday parties are fun, aren't they?
Yes, and we're actually planning our own birthday party. Yeah, I
You
got
are?
you and the kids. Yeah, my daughter's birthday is next Sunday, and so we're having a party at the Doral Park. So
what's in the cards for that one? Have you started figuring that out yet?
Yeah, man, it's a LOL surprise doll theme party, and it's got a face painter coming through, and it's right next to a playground.
Now, are you a good sport with these things? Will you get your face painted too? Go along with everything that's.
I would not mind at all. She's also
part of being a good dad, right?
She's also going to do tattoos. So if you're too
nice.
cool to have your face painted, you could get tattoo painted on you.
Excellent. All right. Well, it looks like we got our weekends set. Dan Day, you could usually find Dan at concerts or trivia nights? So what do you got this weekend, Dan?
I'm trying to get a face tattoo, Omar. It sounds like you got the hookup coming up. So yeah, like a Mike Tyson.
I really hope that's not real.
No.
That's with Dan. You never know. You
I know.
absolutely
Could you
know.
imagine Dan showed up on Monday and he's got like the Mike Tyson thing across his face?
I wonder to myself all the time, what do people who have face tattoos think? Like,
Oh.
what went through your mind when you decided to get this face tattoo? Like, did you say to yourself, I never want a real job ever again?
Well, isn't there like a high percentage of people that like regret getting them in the first place? Like just whatever it is, like
We're getting a tattoo or a face tattoo?
like, isn't there like a high percentage of regret with that?
I've never gotten in.
And they've
I've
made
never
no
had-
advances, right? There's no advances in the tattoo removal game, right? Isn't that
Oh yeah,
just
yeah,
like
there is. You
burn
can
it
get it
off with a
removed.
laser?
Yeah, and it hurts, but you can get it removed.
Have you done that? Have you gone through that?
No, why would I? You've done that, Dan?
Well, what a lot of people don't understand about tattoo removal is it's not just you go in there, they zap you, and you're done. This is like a years-long process. Like you have to go in multiple times over multiple years to get most tattoos removed. Yeah, I thought it was just zap, 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 gone. Nope, nope, no. It's a painful, long, expensive process.
Interesting.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind when you get a tattoo.
Thank you for the heads up there, Dan. Omar, obviously, let's jump into some sports here. And we're going to replay. If you didn't catch Jeff Darlington with us yesterday, he was on the show late when Bo was here, and he had some good insight on everything that's been going on with the Dolphins. But Omar, the Dolphins did make some moves. I think they were very expected moves. This week, Tyreek Hill is gone amongst others, but the Tyreek Hill one is interesting to me because now everyone's debating if he'll ever play again.
Oh, he'll play.
I was in that school kind of with you where I thought like, yes, if anybody could make that comeback, it would be Tyreek Hill.
He's training already. He's training already. He's actually in Kansas City right now training.
Is that where he's just going to end up then? Is that probably?
I'm pretty sure that's where he wants to end up. So, I think he's got a couple of kids there. That's where
a couple of kids there.
Yes, I mean he's got a lot of kids, so a couple of them are there. Yes.
Okay, so they're just scattered around.
When you have like 10 kids, sometimes they're scattered around. Yes, I would agree with that. Yes.
You look at like Kansas City and their receiving core, and I'm guessing Rashee Rice is going to have some serious problems getting back on the field. Now, I know he's denying, I guess, the most recent stuff that came out against him, but
this is a civil claim. The NFL drags their feet, especially when it comes to these civil claims. Now, if there was an arrest made, yeah,
but there's photos, a lot of photos that came out, and those are never good. So
right now, hold on.
Maybe
you could say there's a lot of photos, but right now, especially with AI, can you believe any single photo that you see? Like,
I think that more applies to like when you're on Twitter and you see something like political or whatever. I don't know that necessarily applies. Like in this case, I think if you were using doctored photos, you would be in hot water. But Omar, you're very skeptical about photos these days, huh?
Oh, absolutely. You haven't heard my tales?
Well, you're on the Twitter world, I know. So
not even just
what are your tales? Have you had a bad run-in with an AI photo?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
you didn't hear this story now.
Dating app. I'll make it fast for you.
Oh boy.
Dating app. Got to know a young lady. Very pretty girl, seemingly, and got to know her well, really liked her, just FaceTimed. FaceTime was, a shoulder up. So never really got to see what the full look was. Young lady has a side business having AI run your platform for you, where you literally can make a fake version of yourself, and that fake version of yourself has video, can make a podcast, and you just program it to do whatever you want it to do. She sells a course that allows you to do this, and train and sells a course that allows you to do this, that you can create fake people and fake platforms, fake pages, or actually automate your AI page. Automate your social media page. Okay.
Mhm.
Went out. I mean, finally said to her, basically, how do I know you're not AI? She sent me 20 something pictures of herself. Definitely doesn't look like AI. But when arranged a date, traveled far to go to this date, and showed up, she was absolutely catfished me and did not look anything like what I expected her to look like, which she gave me the impression that she looked like.
So the texter, I mean, like Richie said on this thing here, like that's being catfished.
Yes,
That's what that is, right?
Yeah, I mean, technically,
That's
yeah.
that's the same thing. That's what happened to Manti Te'o, right? And
No, I mean, but she wasn't pretending to
Aaron
be
Rodgers
somebody.
at this point, but
She wasn't pretending to be somebody she wasn't. She was pretending to be herself, just probably about 70 pounds lighter. And a little bit younger looking, and a little bit prettier. AI just did some corrections for her. Just little minor, faceless, body tuck, and
okay.
yeah. So
Hey
that
man, that's
happened.
tough. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm guessing it is tough out there in the dating world. So if
It's
anyone's
dangerous out there. It's
yeah,
dangerous out there. It's rough out there. AI is a dangerous place.
it sounds like it, man. It sounds like it. But wow, that's quite a story to get us going here. Early this morning, I was talking about the Dolphins, and I don't know how we ended up there. But Omar, just
But
quickly,
the whole point was, don't believe every picture that you see. Now I have to be every picture in every video. Now I have to be there. There are things called deep fakes where they can basically get the voice of company CEOs and create a whole video identity of that CEO. You can think you're having a stream chat with him, and he's telling you to do XYZ with the company, telling you to send these millions to somewhere else. This is, and there's literally a company about protecting businesses for these AI with these deep fakes, and it's getting crazy. AI is absolutely getting crazy right now, and we're in a very dangerous place.
well, hopefully, Omar, hopefully you can make it through this minefield here, and no further damage will be done. But that's wow, what a situation there. To our situation, I just do want to get really quick on this one, Omar, and we'll hear from Jeff Darlington in a minute. Alan Poupart, by the way, is going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour. And if you have questions for Omar here this morning, if you're on our YouTube chat, this morning, you can certainly shoot your Dolphins questions over there. You could also shoot them over to our text line 305-567-0560. Dan, I believe we have some tickets we're going to give away at some point here this morning as well. So we'll do that. But Omar, just your overall thoughts on the moves that were made by the Dolphins. Bradley Chubb in there, Tyreek Hill in there, James Daniels in there. What did you think of the moves that the Dolphins made this week?
None of them surprising. Every single one of them were needed to get yourself out of this cap mess that you've created for yourself over the years. I did some. The only one that was surprising was James Daniels, and that was surprising because you do realize you lose money releasing him. You don't gain money. You don't save money. You lose money releasing him. You lost $1.2 million. It is what it is. I guess James didn't want to be here, didn't want to be around, or didn't want to play that finish out the season. I don't know what the truth of that situation is, and honestly, I've turned the page, so I really don't care. Bradley Chubb will probably be used as a June 1st release because even though you're not going to get the money right now, ultimately, I believe that June 1st release is going to be needed to release Tua Tagovailoa, or move on from Tua Tagovailoa. Either way, in via trade, either way, it's going to cost you $11.1 million in a hit immediately. But I do want to point out, and this is something I wrote in the Miami Herald in a column that came out yesterday. You cannot, absolutely cannot, release Tua Tagovailoa as a pre-June 1st cut, which means cut him this month, next month, before the draft. You can only cut him after June 1st because this team cannot handle carrying $43 million of that cap hit. They can't create $43 million of space. There's literally nothing that they can do to create enough space to do what Denver did with Russell Wilson, where you cut him and take all the cap hit this year. So everybody expecting Tua to be this Tua situation to be resolved soon, or Tua to find a new home soon, or Tua to be unloaded from the roster, or Tua to be leave before Malik Willis gets here. That ain't happening.
So you make it sound like Malik Willis is coming for sure, Tua's gone for sure, and that'll figure out the quarterback position. But I just curious.
I didn't say either of those. By the way.
But that's what you're making it sound like. Your percentage that Tua is gone, is that, what is that, 70%, 80%? What would you put that number at? Because here's the thing, right? You're going to pay him regardless. So that's the problem, right? You're going to pay him regardless. You do need a warm body to play that position. And at the same time, and this is what I want to get to later on in the show with you. At what point do Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, like the good players that you have remaining, at what point do they say, we don't want a part of this rebuild process? And they say, I want to play somewhere when they're in their primes, short primes in that league. At what point do they say, I don't want to be a part of this rebuild? But we'll get to that later in the show. What is your percentage on Tua? What percentage do you have on him that he is gone?
60%.
That's low.
And the reason it's that low is because people don't realize you don't lose any money with Tua being here. Financially, it benefits you for Tua to be here. No matter what you do, you lose cap space with Tua. $11.1 million, whether you cut him or trade him, you're going to lose cap space. And then, it's manageable, but it's going to be a challenge for you. So, and if you just keep him here as a backup, or keep him here and put him on IR, you don't lose anything.
Well, that's it's going to be an interesting one to watch for sure. But I can't see them keeping him around. I think you got to tailor the offense to him. I think it's time to cut bait. I've said that, obviously, but
you
they're going to be paying him.
It's absolutely keep him around as a backup. He would definitely want to go, but you could absolutely keep him around as a backup. You paid for him. You can utilize him.
Golf fan Don here is on our YouTube chat this morning. The damage would be in the locker room. Omar, he threw folks under the bus. Yeah, I have a tough time seeing them keeping him.
The damage would, people who say that, they have no. I'm inside the locker room. I know the players. There is no damage done.
I would disagree with that. I'm not in the locker room every day like you, but I would disagree that Tua has not done damage. But nevertheless, the debate will rage on here, Omar. And I did want to get your take on some of the other veteran players on this team who are in their primes, and we'll go through that list as well. But Jeff Darlington, who joined us yesterday, had some really good insight on everything that's going on with the Dolphins. He's also close with Adam Gase and Mike McDaniel. So we'll hear from Jeff Darlington when we come back. Alan Poupart is going to join us. Mike Florio will join us as we get things rolling here on this Football Friday on WQAM.
Hey, I want to tell you about a man named Chef. Yeah, I'm talking about the CEO of Loctite
Staples presents
some mountain music. Tickets on sale now at AM.
An accident early this morning traveling in Miami-Dade.
February is heating up at the casino.
It is time to head out to the Toyota of Hollywood Hotline Shop. Over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. ToyotaofHollywood.com.
We haven't had him for a while, man. It sure is nice to have him back. Jeff Darlington, ESPN NFL reporter, but we used to just say NFL reporter, Bo, but now see him at Wimbledon hanging out. By the way, very expensive trip.
Well,
and then there he is with Scotty Scheffler, number one player, helping him get out of trouble.
Jeff used to do everything, right? now he just does the big stuff. I'm going to go to Wimbledon.
He gets all the good one-on-ones.
I'm not going to go to the French Open. I'm going to go to Wimbledon. I'm going to go to the Masters, and I'm going to go to the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Don't call me for the PGA.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, JD?
Call me when it matters, by the way. Yeah. How we doing, fellas?
Man, we're doing good. Hey, you threw me a little curveball, though, man, on Wimbledon. How fun was that?
Yeah, that was great. That was awesome. Really great experience. And by the way, I guess I can say this now since it went okay. I didn't know a damn thing about tennis.
I was going to ask you that, how you stood on that, because I thought maybe I know your club over there has tennis courts. I went, yeah, I started playing on the clay courts or something. I thought you're going to hit me with that.
No, I told my boss called and he said, hey, what do you think? The Masters went well, PGA Championship. What do you think about doing Wimbledon? And I said, well, if Carlos Alcaraz that's one guy I knew. Carlos Alcaraz gets arrested. I said, if Carlos Alcaraz gets arrested, I'm your guy. And I think I came across with a bravado and confidence in saying that it meant I knew tennis. And he's like, well, great. See you there.
It's funny, Jeff. I remember, I think it was down at one of the games and we were talking and you said, hey, they're sending me Wimbledon. And I go, you know anything about tennis? He goes, no. And I go, don't worry, you'll be fine, right? And look, I watched your coverage. It was great. It was great.
Yeah, it was totally faked it.
Yeah.
But, in all seriousness, I think the thing that they were looking for was just like kind of storytelling. In retrospect, I thought I fooled them, but really that's what they wanted. They wanted someone who didn't really necessarily get too far in the weeds, Hey, so as long as I could pronounce the names.
We think about you a lot. Bo and I were talking about everything that's been going on with the Dolphins, and here we go again, and all the changes. And amazing. I'm paying you a compliment. Whether it's Adam Gase or Mike McDaniel, you've been able to stay close enough to get the good part of where they're going, where they're interviewing, what the thought is, and staying close to them. I burn bridges, man. Not on purpose, but like by the end when it's bad from things I say, they're not talking to me. You do a good job, and I'm paying you a compliment.
Well, no, that's nice of you. It makes me nervous coming on the show. Because, that's the thing. Like, I'll hear it right afterwards, I don't know about anymore, but I was always hearing, whatever I'd say on this show. Now I got to save it for Bo Campers Thursday. I'll be speaking at Bo Campers Restaurant, Catch and Cut in Fort Lauderdale, Los Olas. Great steaks.
Yeah.
The whole deal. I'll be speaking there next Thursday.
So you're going next Thursday.
Yeah, he's going next Thursday. Got them all lined up. Trying to get Cunio to come and be the second interviewer on it, because I usually try to bring two guys, but he's going to the. I thought I was going to lose you because the combine next week.
Nah, hey, the combine's not quite big enough.
No, not yeah. You know what though? I'm going to follow up on Joe. One thing I've followed your since your career started here in the newspaper business and you got into where you are. You're one of the guys that finds a knack to get close to people and get information from people without them, feeling like you're doing something wrong.
Well, they trust
and,
them.
And again, like I knew when you go to win because that's what you are. You're a storyteller, and I don't think you. And you're an information guy, but I don't think you step over the bounds, and I think that makes everybody comfortable with you.
Well,
that's something that Joe and I never learned. Something Joe and I never learned how to do.
Don't worry, somebody's always mad. Somebody's always mad around here. Yeah, there's no question. Hey, I got to ask you about the Mike McDaniel and his final decision. You were kind of going through it with him, and you're calling him, and you're doing updates, and everybody wanted to know. Listen, he was hot. I don't know if he's going to get a head coaching job, but I felt like he could have had. Tell me if I'm wrong, 6 or 7 different offensive coordinator jobs. I thought he absolutely made the right decision going with Jim Harbaugh. He's getting paid like a head coach the next 2 years. He got a lot of money coming in. He's working with Justin Herbert. He's going to get those big tackles back. We're going to be really good. And they got a lot of money. I think they're going to have a really good team. He's looking in the near future to get another head coaching job. What do you think?
One of the things that I went through this exercise with Mike and was pretty candid with him on this is I think a lot of times these guys, and I can point toward the other guy you mentioned, Adam Gase. A lot of times there's this pressure within the coaching community to jump from whatever job you just got fired from into whatever head coaching job is available next. And Mike, Mike was inclined to kind of go that path. And really feel out those head coaching jobs. And there were some available. But one of the things that I kind of would urge any of these guys to do is just make sure it's the right opportunity. Because, I don't want to speak for Gase, but I do think that he would admit it publicly that, like, going to the Jets was maybe a regrettable move. And that's not to say that it's just about the organization. But sometimes, like, you also, as a person, when you go through the meat grinder that is being an NFL head coach, like, you're probably best suited to not chill because these jobs are still high pressure, but step back a touch and kind of collect yourself. And I think that's, ultimately, I think Mike getting an offensive coordinator job is better for his long term than taking, say, the Cleveland Browns job. And doing it in a place that, if he has success, he's going to get his choice. So I think the Chargers did a great job. I personally thought the Bucks would have been a great job. I thought that would have led to a clear path to being the head coach of the Bucks. But I also can understand the allure. It'll work the same. Like, if he does well with the Chargers, I think that too will lead to better things. I guess the only thing I'd say, the Bucs job felt good from the standpoint that you have a defensive coach who's getting a little older and probably not going to coach too much longer, even whether by choice or not. So he could have just fell right into that role. But I think this is a great situation for Mike, and I think he'll do well with it.
So let me ask you this, Jeff, and this is going to cover like both Mike and Adam. Look, both those guys, I did their coaches shows, and I've kind of got a feel for them. And I think both of them, to me, are more suited for
to be coordinators.
Just be a coordinator.
Yeah.
And look, and maybe I might stretch this a little more by saying Mike may be better suited just being a play designer and a play caller. Because the one thing I saw I didn't see them as much from Adam, but from Mike. I'm seeing him every week. I'm seeing him in his wife, his kids, his girl, his daughter. And boy, I could see the stress on Mike, and boy, I could see the stress on his wife. I remember we were coming out of the Cleveland game, and I'm just looking at her, and she's just you could see she's racked, and I felt so bad for her. And everybody's walking by her, and she's got to stand there. And I go, my God, the pressure that puts on your family. And look, there's going to be a lot of pressure, even if you're an offense coordinator. But certainly, it's not that demanding pressure day by day as a head coach.
So I do agree with that. My only pushback would be I have seen every head coach for the past 20 years here leave with their shoulders down, exhausted, depressed, their family saying, "What are we doing?" Like, I can't remember a situation, whether it was Tony Sperano, and I remember telling this to Gase when he first got here. I remember saying to him, like, dude, you're going to come in here. You have to, and I said the same thing to Mike. You're going to have to walk into that news conference every single day, and you're going to walk in with your shoulders high, but you're going to get beaten down. And it's how you kind of handle that situation that's going to dictate how long you stay. And I think that it has happened to everybody. And I don't know if that's just what the NFL is. But I would say this about Mike, and to a degree, Adam. This was their first head coaching jobs. And I think that one of the things we expect out of these guys is to just be Sean McVay, to just walk in and nail it the first time. But so often you're going to, think about anybody in any job, anywhere. Your first time in that position, you're learning so much. And the problem for the Dolphins is they're going to watch Mike, now that he's learned on the job in Miami, they'll watch him go succeed. And for fans, that'll be miserable. Because next time he does this, I do think he will be better. Is everybody suited to be a head coach? I think that is certainly subjective, and it just depends on the guy. I will say this about Mike's leadership. When he came from the 49ers, I had 10 different 49ers players telling me that they would take a bullet for that guy. That they, George Kittle, I need him here. Deebo Samuel, all walks of life. I don't know what went wrong in terms of that, because it definitely felt disjointed by the end, for sure. And I do wonder if, when you're an offensive coordinator, leadership styles changes. You don't have to be, you can be a little bit more their friend as opposed to just their boss.
Well, look,
and that's something I think Mike's going to have to learn.
I think there are guys
right there.
I think there are guys in the Dolphins that would say the same thing about Mike. And I think part of it comes from the closeness that he, he's not a Don Shula. He's not putting any distance between him and his players. I think that was regrettable, by the way. He's embracing every one of those players. Look, the one time when Tua got hurt, he goes, this is the first time he goes, that's my teammate. No, it's not your teammate.
Yeah. No, it's not. And that is a great point, Bo. And that, and by the way, the next time he gets a head coaching job, I wonder, when we get burned in relationships, when we get burned by family, when we get burned in life, how you respond and whether you're scarred from that. What happened with Tua is absolutely appalling. The way that went down. I mean, from multiple angles. The fact that in my opinion, now I'm going to come across as being a little defensive of Mike here, but in my opinion, it is the job of the head coach to fall in love with the quarterback and make him the best person he can be. That is what Mike did. If that ultimately leads that coach to saying this guy needs to get paid, that's the job. That is what he was supposed to do. It's the job of the general manager to say, no, why would we pay him? Why would we even pick up his fifth-year option when we can pay him the same amount after the season and find out what we have than before it? That's the job of the GM, not the head coach. The head coach should never be in the situation where he's saying, I don't know if we should pay this guy, because the second the quarterback would catch wind of that, it's over.
Yeah.
So to me, that's number one. Number two, in the end, feeling like Tua sort of basically said, Mike's not my guy. He got you paid, dude. He made you better than you ever would have been. So whether that makes him a good head coach or not, I don't know. But I do know when it comes to Tua and when it comes to the likability of the locker room, I actually think that he is not as bad as maybe he was perceived at the end.
Let me ask you your thoughts on Tua going forward. What do you think? Where do you think he is physically after Mike benched him with 3 games left after that Monday night football game? By the way, he was horrible at quarterback. So, but what do you think?
I don't think it matters to Dolphins fans. I can tell you that. I don't think he'll be playing in Miami.
No.
Just no. Like that's not going to happen. Listen, I am so opposed to the idea of, and I know we're kind of inclined to do it, all of us. I'm so opposed of the idea of getting in a player's head and saying he's playing skittish because of his head injuries, all those types of things. Do I think that is a real possibility? Absolutely. Do I think it felt like Mike was calling games to protect him? Yes, for sure. 2 things that cannot happen if you're an NFL quarterback. But I also I refuse to say he got paid, so he nailed it in, or his head injuries are making him play skittish. I just think that's unfair to somebody in Tua who is one of the best in the world at what he does. You don't get there by accident. And I do think that it's hard for me to say that that's the reality, but I can say when people in the building start feeling that way, it's over. You cannot have that guy continue to be your quarterback if people of authority feel like that's the potential there.
Yeah.
Well, what if you see? So to me, I agree with you on the money thing and this and that. He said some stupid things about the money, but
every week,
but that goes. But I to me, in looking at him, I just think he lost his confidence. I just think his confidence wavered so bad.
Well, I think part of that's because physically he
lost a little bit from a physical standpoint.
And the root of that,
but the pressure that he was under, I wouldn't have wanted to be under it myself.
No, I mean it's a lot. Tua has always come with a lot of that pressure, and he's not exactly the type of personality who, yes, think about the different iterations that we saw from Tua in Miami over the years, from the quiet, mistrusting one to the suddenly very open and vibrant one to the near the end feeling a little bit, scorned and mistrusting again. I think it's really hard when you're in the NFL to have to kind of navigate that. And it takes a special person. By the way, you would love right now. I'm walking my dog past this park in my neighborhood right now. I'm looking to my left. I got some guy out here. He's teaching this boot camp with all these housewives. And there's
come on now, Jeff.
Doing that downward
is it right on the intercoastal? Isn't that park right on the intercoastal out there?
Oh my God! It's right over in Real Vista. This is awful. What are we doing? I bet all these people are paying about $200 a session. This guy's cleaning up to teach them how to do a couple push-ups so they can go home and try to get their husbands to appreciate them.
Hey, Jeff, man, it's been good talking to you, brother. Really appreciate it, man. You are something else.
You leave us with a really good visual, though.
A lot of those hot moms in that neighborhood too. Yeah,
Hey, your son lives here now, Joe. You know what? Dan's daughter-in-law might be over there doing whatever it is.
You know what? She might be. She might be in one of those little outfits over there joining him right now. Hey, by the way, do you know where he lives over there?
Yeah, I know where he lives.
I
You
didn't
gonna
know
come over?
Yeah. No, I do come over
the guy,
sometimes.
The guy, you know, like it does not fall far from the tree. The guy, I'm walking my dog another time. This guy drives by in a golf cart, whole family on it. He's like, hey, Jeff. This guy's got no shirt on. He's got no shirt on. It's about 10 o'clock at night. It's dark. He's got no shirt on, abs, pectorals, the whole thing. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Oh, it's Joe Rose's son.
Hey, I'd have my shirt off if I worked out and looked like he did too.
Exactly right.
Come to mini bangy dangy.
Right.
Yeah, no, he ain't no bangy dangy, my man. He'll never be part of that story. Matter of fact, my kids are the one that made me leave the party that night. Said, Dad, go home.
They did. Remember
Get in
that?
your old age group, please. Go home to your wife.
What a party.
Yeah.
What was it, 20 years ago?
I don't know, brother, but it was one of the great times I've ever had with you. That just put you put our relationship in a different place that night when with that.
Joe Rose shows up, says, let's have a party. I said, all right. He shows up. That morning I wake up, there's a tractor trailer from Budweiser rolling in kegs.
I love
Joe
those
shows
Bud
up an hour
people.
later with his kids. They're carrying magnums of vodka, like these children. They're carrying these vodka and they're putting it on the, he goes, over there, put it over there. He looks at the beer and says, oh, this is not enough. About 20 minutes later, I get a call. He says, hey, can you get over to Total Wine? I said, sure. I go over there. They got these guys out front with these things with kegs of beer on them. They start loading them in my car.
I got to tell you.
We hired 2 bands. We had porta potties. Oh,
I got to tell you, and JD had a model. One of his roommates was a big, tall, good-looking model.
Yeah.
And he was bringing them in 10 at a time. I don't know where he got – when I say the girls were coming in 10 at a time.
That was the days of MySpace. I think the guy just searched the area.
That was incredible.
Remember the old saying from MySpace to my place?
Yeah.
That was Brian Larrabee's theme.
Legendary.
Oh, man.
Hey,
legendary.
JD, thank you, brother. Appreciate it very much.
Hey, you're both the best. You've always been the best to me of anybody down here, so I appreciate both of you forever.
All right, brother. Right back at you. Thanks, Jeff. Jeff Darlington, ESPN NFL reporter, walking his dog in Real Vic. Hey, Melissa at Chill Zone, thank you so much, man, for what you're doing. Man, it makes so much sense. If you're frustrated with air conditioning companies out there,
of Kendall and Lexus of West Kendall. Your home for the best price.
Ways for you to listen to your favorite shows and favorite teams on WQAM.
How is that, if I may ask?
We're at FM 1043, or you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Check it out now.
Football Friday. Hope everyone's having a good start to their morning here. Hollywood Omar Kelly, Dan Day along here with you. Jamie has jumped in with us as well. Boy, Omar, a lot of stuff to digest from that interview there. I'm just curious what you think about the hires that the Chargers have made here. They have brought in Mike McDaniel, Adam Gase now making his way over there. All signs point to that being a very prolific offense with Justin Herbert over there. I'm just curious your thoughts on those hires, Omar.
It's a quality staff. Looks like they're taking that all-in approach to getting Justin Herbert to that mountaintop of elite quarterbacks. Clearly, they're going to have to rebuild the line. Butch Barry is their offensive line coach because Mike had an opportunity to bring some of his staff. It's going to be interesting to see. The funny thing is, I know both Mike McDaniel and Adam Gase. I know their personalities, and I think they'd work well together, extremely well together. So that's going to be good to see. I'm glad Adam's back in the game. I always say this, and Jeff Darlington touched on this. Like, I never understand this race to get back into the game. Like, Mike McDaniel's going to be paid by the Dolphins for the next 3 years. Whatever he makes for the Chargers, he's working for free. It's offset language. Why would you rush right back into it? But for Mike, I understand, maybe because he feels like a good season with the Chargers, helping Justin Herbert get over the hump, helping the Chargers establish a great run identity, a year he can learn from Harbaugh. Maybe he thinks that's going to put him in position to get another head coaching job.
Yeah, but like for me, Mike was clearly a hot commodity despite everything that went down here, right? I mean, he was interviewing for head coaching jobs. I think there's a lot of teams that would have taken him as their OC. Adam Gase, a little bit of a different situation, right? Because Adam had the Dolphins situation, which was not good, and then the Jets situation, which was even worse.
Come on, you've seen Nathaniel Hackett. How many jobs has he gotten? He's been
everyone gets recycled in the NFL.
Yeah, but that's my point. Adam Gase would have gotten recycled. He was probably just only reason he was out of the game was because he was cashing. He figured out the game and was just enjoying his Jets cash. And I believe Adam was day trading.
I think Adam needed a breather, is what I think. That Jets thing was, that was even worse than the situation here.
Yeah, I mean, but the Jets have been a hot mess for everybody. Tell me who the Jets aren't a hot mess for. I would say the Jets probably one of the few worst run organizations in the Miami Dolphins. So, that's where your career goes to die if you're a quarterback and or in your head coach. But I think Adam would be fine. I love that the fact that they're both linked up together because I know who they are. I know what they're capable of. And Adam is I can't say great. Adam is a good quarterback developer. And I think he's probably a pretty good play caller. And then Mike is a good concept scheme designer. I wouldn't necessarily say good play caller, but hopefully he learns how to build a team properly, because I think how he built that team specifically basically handcuffed the Dolphins. There are a lot of things that you fundamentally should not do building an organization that was absolutely Mike McDaniel driven, like the small receivers thing. I mean, that was all Mike. And I know for a fact that Chris Greer was not on board with that. Yeah, you get Tyreek Hill, and you make exceptions for great players. But to me, one of the biggest mistakes this franchise has made is Jalen Waddle over Jamar Chase. You were right there in position to take Jamar Chase. You know he's a generational player. Why would you select a lesser player, trade down and play around to go get a lesser player when you're in position for a guy is going to be an all-decade player?
Wasn't the worst possible outcome, though, in that draft. They could have taken Kyle Pitts. So that probably would have been
hey. Kyle Pitts is projected. Kyle Pitts, I don't believe in these projections, but Kyle Pitts is projected to make $60 to $70 million on his new contract as a free agent, because he had a pretty good season last year. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm a Kyle Pitts fan. I would definitely not be
to torment fantasy football owners on a yearly basis, Omar. But you could up with that guy. I'm with you, by the way. I hated when they traded down and started getting cute with that pick, and it's like
it was the dumbest, stupidest thing this organization.
It's all done though at this point, and it is kind of funny that Gase and McDaniel have kind of something in common, right? They both tied themselves to bad Dolphins quarterback play. All right, we got to take a pause here. I don't know if you saw this yet, Omar, but the NFL's media rights deal, which is not up for a few more years, that they're going to start negotiating this thing. This thing might double. And what that is going to mean for people out there who are trying to watch all these games, we'll let you know how many streaming services you're going to need when this new deal pops up here for the NFL. The 7 o'clock hour is next on QAM.
Right now, though, I want to tell you about Atlantic Men's Clinic, ED and Low T.
Skyracy. Serious allergic.
By the Casino at Dania Beach. Catch highlight at the Dania Beach Fronton through February 28th. February is heating up at the Casino at Dania Beach. Enjoy new exciting promotions all month long. Plus, the hottest slots, great shows, dining, live poker, highlight, and new members can win up to $5,000 in free play. Join the fun at the Casino at Dania Beach.
This hour of the Joe Rose Show is brought to you by Baptist Health.
This is the legendary WQAM-FM and HD1 Miramar, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. WQAM Miami, an Odyssey sports station. The home of Joe Rose with Hollywood, Tobin and Leroy, and Hot Crowder and Solana. South Florida sports lives here.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Headlines are brought to you by Doral Volkswagen, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Volkswagen or at DoralVolkswagen.com. The Heat are back in action tonight, 7:30 against the Atlanta Hawks. Tyler Hero probable coming back from that rib injury, while Norman Powell and Keyshawn Johnson are questionable. The Canes basketball team look to make it 5 in a row tomorrow at 2 when they play 14th ranked Virginia on the road. The Marlins open spring training baseball tomorrow at 1:10 against the Mets. And Hurricanes baseball, they're going to host a 4-game weekend series against Lafayette starting tonight at 7 o'clock. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
Perfect time to say goodbye. When I come back like Jordan, we're in the 4-5. It ain't to play games with you. It's to aim at you. Probably name you. If I owe you, I'm blowing you to smithereens.
Welcome back in here on this Football Friday on WQAM. Nice work by Dan Day there on the update. I'm Hollywood. Omar Kelly with us as well. Dan, there was a lot of stuff to digest from that update, man. We got a very, very busy weekend coming up here. We got the Heat back in action tonight as they start the second half of their season. As you heard Dan mention, Tyler Hero should be back in the lineup. Be interesting to see the Heat down the stretch of this season, see if they can't get things clicking like it was in the beginning of the season. Boy, it looked like the Jimmy Butler hangover was gone, and this is a team that's going to compete in the East. And they have kind of traveled back into that play-in situation here, and we'll see if they can get over that hump and get themselves out of that play-in tournament. But that's where Miami has ended up here the past handful of seasons. So it might be playing once again for them. Let's see. We got Hurricanes basketball tomorrow at Virginia as Miami tries to get another signature win here. That'll be a tough one to go on the road and take on the Cavaliers. We'll have that for you on QAM tomorrow. We got Olympic hockey coming up today at 3:10. We're trying to figure out. I just got another no sweat bet from Hard Rock. We're over on this hockey thing here. We've bet Kachuk every single game to score a goal. It has not happened. We said he was due last game. Is he? I guess he's due this game.
Feel like he's got to be due on this game. I mean, we've been taking him every single game. We got to ride with him until he scores, because when he does score, we're going to be kicking ourselves if we don't take him.
That's the problem. Like, if we don't take him, he will score. If we do, he won't. That's usually how it goes. But that game is at 3:10 today. I got to tell you, that women's game, the finish of that game yesterday was very exciting. The Olympic women's team gets the gold medal, winning in overtime. They're beating Canada. Very dramatic finish to that game. We've had a lot of stuff with the Olympics, Omar. I don't know how much you've watched. I'm guessing very little, judging by the face you're making at me right now. I have not watched much either. I saw that figure skating thing, I guess yesterday. People seemed into that. I have not watched much of it. Omar, again, I'm just guessing by your reaction, you have not watched.
Listen, I can't even find what channel it's on.
That's on NBC.
Yeah. Okay. No, I have not watched a second of the Winter Olympics. If I stumbled upon it, cool. But I can barely even find my NBA games at this point. Like, TV is becoming incredibly challenging to navigate.
Well, that's a perfect segue into our next story here, Omar. And we have the NFL media rights. They're up in like 2029, but they can start negotiating now. And do you know how much, Omar, the NFL gets on a yearly basis for their media rights?
NFL, I'm going to guess about $16 billion.
It's at 10 right now. So they're at $10 billion annually right now. Now that number is they anticipate that number will double to about $20 billion annually for the NFL's media rights. Now, here's where I
heard the league was making about $16 billion a year. The cap consistently keeps going up by huge, massive numbers. TV deals are major catalysts for the cap going up.
So here's where this thing gets very interesting, right? So if the number doubles, they're essentially saying that the major networks, CBS, Fox, NBC, and ESPN, are not going to be able to just afford to double the number, right? And we've seen these networks have gotten involved in some very expensive TV contracts. The NBA just had their media rights. College football seems like it's always renegotiating something or other with these TV deals. But nevertheless, what this ends up meaning here is that they are reporting here, Omar, that about 15 games from this package. So what they're essentially going to do is they're going to take games away from these networks so that they can still afford to carry some games, and they are going to start moving them to various streaming services. Netflix being one of them, YouTube being another. So YouTube TV will essentially end up with games here, and you are going to need, I don't know, by my count, 6 or 7 different streaming services if you want to watch NFL football. And they put it, they spell it out for you in this article. They basically say wherever the games are, you're going to go, because that's the NFL. And the Dolphins have proven that model. 25 years without a playoff win, and that stadium's still packed for every single game. So the Dolphins have proven that model works.
And it's not packed for every single game.
That's all you gotta do. Put on NFL football, and it seems to work.
But aren't they already on every streaming platform? Netflix, they're on. Prime, they're on. What aren't they on? Like HBO Max?
No, they're everywhere now. But I think the thing that frustrates people, at least it frustrates me, like, is the amount of services that you need.
Oh,
right? Like you need So you need a cable provider, right? So you can get
No,
your
not necessarily. Not necessarily. And I think that this is what it's
separately to those, but you need NBC, CBS, Fox, Netflix, Amazon Prime. Now you're going to need YouTube something. It's
YouTube.
amazing. It's amazing how many things you're going to need. And now, YouTube obviously is a partner already because they have Sunday Ticket, which I had Sunday Ticket 1 year because they gave it to me free on DirecTV. I'm not a Sunday Ticket guy. I am a Red Zone guy. So I now subscribe to the NFL app, which is like, I don't even know what that is, $15 a month, $16 a month, something like that. And that's just to get NFL Network and to get the Red Zone on Sundays. So you have to subscribe for that as well. So I'm subscribed to so many different services. Dan, are you the same as me, or are you just I'm going to head to the sports bar type of guy on Sunday? I know you're a sports bar guy, but are you subscribed to 50 different services like we are?
No, I'm not subscribed to anything. Well, Netflix. I have Netflix. That's it. No, I don't have time to watch TV.
Yeah, Dan doesn't seem like a TV watcher to me.
No, he doesn't. To be honest, I'm not anymore either because of these kids. They take up too much time. But
bet you're watching Nickelodeon.
I do like to watch these games, man. I can't not watch the games, and so I find myself subscribed to all these things. But it really is amazing that the number is going to double here for the NFL's media rights. The NBA these things just continue to go up in price, and the problem is, man, who's going to end up eating the cost?
The fans.
That is you, the consumer. That is the fans that are going to continue to eat the cost of these expensive streaming services. So it really is crazy where we're heading with this. Remember, you used to just be able to subscribe to like cable.
Just have cable. Yeah. No. Remember when we were like, oh yeah, this is going to create a better opportunity for a competitive environment, and you're going to be able to pick what you want a la carte, and then you basically have to end up picking everything, paying the same price, if not more, than you did for cable.
Yeah, that a la carte thing, right? And it made sense. It sounded great. They go, oh, you don't watch the Home Shopping Network or whatever? Great, you don't have to pay for it anymore. But yeah, it certainly has not gotten any easier here. And like Louis says on the thing here, it is so hard to find different. It is, man. Sometimes you sit down and you're like, all right, I'm going to watch this game today, and where the hell is this thing airing?
You know what newspapers used to do, where they used to print this game is on this channel.
Yeah, I remember the days of having a TV guide sitting on my coffee table.
Yeah, I need that. I need that on a website so I can go. I use Talking Siri, I guess, whatever the phone that talks to me. I use
Catfished. Yes, AI.
Why do you keep bringing up the catfish?
Because
and
yes, the texters keep bringing it. They're very intrigued with the question.
She passed 2 bills. Yes. And I sent Danny the pictures. Does that person look like she's 2 bills?
No, she did not. But I am very sorry that you got catfish. Maybe we could AI you into something else too.
Not my first time either, which is the sad thing.
No,
no,
multiple times.
Probably about a 3. Yeah,
it's tough, man.
It's tough out here on these streets, Danny.
I hear you. Someone said Amazon Prime, something you get for shipping. Yeah, I do get Amazon Prime for shipping purposes. So that's something I was already going to be paying for. He said streaming service Peacock is free with Xfinity, among other things. Yeah, look, Walmart Plus gives you Paramount. Yes, there are definitely ways to bundle these things in. Like I know T-Mobile, I think, gives you something or other with their service Netflix, for free. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to do these things. The bottom line is it's very complicated, and it's all fan. Don says TV Guide used to set my VCR. You set the VCR. Remember they had DVR? That was a thing for a while. I don't know if people are still using
YouTube TV. Still has DVR. I if I didn't want to be charged $120 a month, for something that I pay.
Services are expensive, man. Like
Yeah,
I had Fubo for like a minute there, and that thing was like $60 or $70 a month on top of all the streaming services. And listen to us sound like old men just complaining about all this, but it has gotten complicated. Remember that channel they used to have too on cable, the channel that would have the TV guide on it, and it would just like slowly crawl down your screen, and you'd wait to find the channel that you wanted to see what was coming up later that day. But I do remember the days of having a paper TV guide. Jamie wouldn't know about this because he's like 16 years old. But they used to have a paper TV guide. I guess it came in the newspaper.
Yeah, it came every week.
Man.
Yeah.
And then
you got it mailed to your house, Jamie.
That was
I don't know about that kind of stuff.
Paper, right?
Email me instead. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know about mail? You don't know about physical mail?
So we used to get in the newspaper. A lot of stuff used to come in the newspaper. Remember, you used to have the movie times in the newspaper.
I love that. Yeah.
Paper, and you'd see what time the movie was playing.
The movies would be advertised in the back, like the lifestyle section of the paper, and it'd tell you the movie theater that was playing at what time. Yeah, man. Back in the day when newspapers were, I love newspapers. I'm employed by newspapers, but we are still relevant based on the fact that we can dominate your phone. However, we're just a competitor. We're not the market anymore. We're just a competitor in the market.
No, well, so you used to have to go in the newspaper and find the movie times, and you'd take yourself down to the box office and you'd buy a ticket. Now, obviously, it's much different.
Too, Jamie. Physical ticket.
Do you guys still do on Sundays?
Well, this guy makes a good point. I mean,
go ahead.
With the young or the sports pirates, that's a good point. I mean, you got to know how to use these different sites and stuff to watch.
Jamie stealing cable is making it more expensive for the consumer as well. It's not these TV deals; it's Jamie stealing all of the games. That makes it
my fault.
It's
Jamie's
young people.
fault.
It's not just Jamie.
Remember, you used to put those ads in the newspapers on Sundays too. Like you'd go and you'd look and see what was on sale at Best Buy that week in the little paper circular.
You're talking about the Sunday flyers? Yeah, I think they still have those.
Yeah. Miss those too.
And I used to cut coupons. What are you talking about? That's a good $5 savings a week, huh?
I am a big coupon guy, but coupons are all digital now too. So everything is gone. Everything's on the phone now. All right, we're going to take a quick pause here. Omar, remember, I did have this question that I wanted to ask you about the Dolphins players that are in their prime right now, and where do we see them ending up over the next few weeks as we lead into this season. Are any of those guys possible trade moves here for the Dolphins in the coming weeks and months? We'll take a pause. We'll get to that question when we come back here on QAM.
I want to tell you about your South Florida Chevy dealers. Man, I love my talk.
at St. Thomas University in Miami Gardens and show off your football skills in front of coaches from across the country for a chance to earn scholarships for college. The event is open to high school juniors and seniors. More than $1 million is awarded each year. Register for free today at orangebowl.org.
Your skin is so precious. Cuts and wounds are painful and can leave scars. So why just cover your wounds?
Orthopedic care. Go where the pros go. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information.
Traffic on WQAM is sponsored by Lexus of Kendall.
Enjoy 500 years of fun in a single day at Quiet Waters Park. Weekends in February and March. Tickets on sale now at ren-fest.com. That's ren-fest.com.
15 Minutes of Heat is sponsored by Doral Kia. You always pay less with your Pricito at Doral Kia. Visit us at Doral Kia or at doralkia.com.
Cool ways to listen to us.
Okay, I'd like to hear them then.
On FM 104.3 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Same great shows, same great games. Plus, you can use the rewind feature and listen to anything you missed. Go for it.
Welcome back in on this Football Friday here on WQAM. Hope everyone's having a great start to their Friday. Busy weekend coming up here. I'm Hollywood. Omar Kelly is with us, Dan Day and Jamie. And we got a lot of stuff going on this weekend, Omar. We'll set the big weekend table with all the events momentarily here, but I do want to get to this because we have kind of been teasing, discussing it. By the way, I appreciate all of our texters and YouTube commenters helping everyone out here with this TV streaming situation here. Anything to save a few bucks, man, because it's a mess out there with all these different services. But Omar, speaking of saving money, or perhaps saving money, you have a few players on this Dolphins team. And if I'm missing anyone outside of the obvious, my immediate thought goes to Achane and Waddle. If I'm missing anyone, please add them to this list here. But when I think of Dolphin players that are either entering or are in their prime, right? And Achane is probably about to get the best years of his career in the next, 2 or 3 years. And we know how short the lifespan is for especially the running back position. Does he want to get pounded down here in Miami during a rebuild for the next 2 or 3 years, however long this takes, right? And that's the billion-dollar question is, first of all, there's no guarantee, as we know, there's no guarantee that it works anyway. But it will take, I would think at minimum, Omar, a year to get this thing on the right track. The Dolphins are widely expected, at least by the people that set these numbers, to be one of, if not the worst team in football.
Yeah,
it's
kind of hard to evaluate those early projections before free agency, before the draft, before roster cuts, before trade. I mean, they basically just project the teams based on their quarterback standings. And Miami and Arizona have quarterbacks that they're about to cut, so they've basically got nobody. It's Now, what teams do in the free agency will dictate how they navigate and move up those rankings. But to address your question, yeah, and I wrote about this in a column that's coming out that I think came out yesterday. Achan's going to want his money. His money is a 5-year, $50 million extension with $30 million guaranteed. That's what James Cook got. He's probably going to want maybe $1 more than that. You know, if the Dolphins are wise, they would probably drag this process out, force him to play on his final year of his rookie contract for $5.5 million, and then franchise tag him for 1 season, totally paying, $20 million for 2 years. The reason I say that that's the wise approach is because, one, HN's small, he's fragile, and what so happens if you pay premium price for a back who just suffered an injury? You need to make them consistently earn that big payday, and that's the one thing the Dolphins haven't done. Look at the Tua situation, and that's what the point of the column that I wrote. There should be lessons that we learn and take from the Tua situation. The first lesson is don't compensate players handsomely after 1 season of effective dominant play. That's just irresponsible. And yeah, Tua put together 2 good seasons, 22 and 23, but you only had 1 where you stayed healthy for an entire year. If the Dolphins had made him play on his 5th-year option and then franchise tagged him, they would be walking away from him right now scot-free. No ties, no $54 million. The $54 million that you're paying right now is the final installment of the bill that you were due, that bill that's owed when you did sign him to that multi-year contract. This is the heavy year. You paid less every single year. This is the final year of the big payment. So that's the first lesson that the Dolphins should have learned. But you know why they backed down on Tua and the negotiations? Because Chris Curry did not want to give him the money. Mike McDaniel twisted his arm to give them the money. And I wrote about this in my Miami Herald column that's up now. It's in the paper. They twisted Chris Greer's arm. They twisted Steve Ross's arm because Tua Tagovailoa was not going to participate in the offseason program. He was not going to participate in training camp. He was going to set your offense back by not participating. But you know what would have helped that situation? You were stuck between a rock and a hard place. And as Tua said, the market is the market. You know what would have helped that situation? If you'd had a competent backup, let's say Jimmy Garoppolo here, to say, okay, Tua, you don't want to play? Jimmy, your job. And that would have certainly put pressure on Tua to get his butt out there on the field. But the franchise didn't. They and not just didn't, but they haven't had QB competition since 2012 for 1 week when Matt Moore actually got to compete with Ryan Tannehill for a single week when David Garrard went down. That's the last time I've seen a QB competition. And before that, it was 2008 before Chad Pennington got here, where Chad Henne, John Beck, and one of the McCown boys, I can't remember which one, competed to be the starting quarterback for the 2008 season. All of them sucked. Chad Pennington showed down here with a cape and turned this franchise into a winning team the last time they were an AFC East champion.
It's a passionate rant there, Omar. I like that. Look, the follow-up to this would be, and I'm seeing all the comments come in, and there's no one debating how good Achan is. It's not like a Tua situation. Like, Achan is a fantastic player, one of the best in his position in football, and he's very dynamic, right? He does everything. He catches the ball, he runs. I mean, he does everything.
Does he block?
The question, though, becomes, does he want to be here? That to me is the biggest issue.
He's going to say he wants to be here because
his prime want to go through a rebuild.
I think the answer to that question depends on the money. It depends on the money. He's never gotten money. This is going to be the biggest payday of his year, and a lot of that is because of playing time escalators.
And it's one contract, right, for a running back? I mean, assuming
Derrick Henry got 2, so Saquon Barkley got 2.
Henry, man. those guys are like.
I agree with you. Running backs.
Henry, like that to me is not a great, measuring stick. And I'm not saying that Achane can't be those guys, but I just think Achane is, first of all, he has to know going into the season, like if he is here, that the Dolphins are going to try to give him the ball 50 times a game. Right. So they are, theoretically, you would think they're going to run him into the ground and, really use him heavily.
They got other backs. They might select another back.
Someone like him, someone like Jalen Waddle, if they are, they're going to call them in and be like, hey, this is the reality here. We're rebuilding this thing. We're not going to be very good. Do you want to be here? And I just wonder, Omar, when that, that gets presented to them, are they going to say, why don't you trade me? And would it be in the Dolphins' best interest to just trade guys like that and start stockpiling picks and start to rebuild? Because
we did this already.
This thing's going to take.
We did this already, and how did it turn out?
And I don't want to use the word tank, but there's no question the Dolphins are going to be a bad team this year, right? It seems highly unlikely the Dolphins are going to turn it around instantly in one off season.
Maybe Malik Willis that next. No, I don't necessarily. I'd like to see how the offseason plays out. I'd like to see the team before training camp. Do they have a ton of holes on the roster? Absolutely. I think I've been evaluating the roster this week, and I think my count was at 8 players who belong on a 53-man roster that are actually on the roster now.
Okay, so that's about half of the number that we need to get to. I just wonder, man. I wonder if these guys even want to be a part of this thing. I wonder if the Dolphins
who wants to be a part of a rebuild.
Nobody. I don't.
I know. Minkah's not going to publicly say it, but Minkah.
Yeah, that's another one.
Minkah acted like a hostage last year. Like it's do you really want to be? Minkah already let you know he didn't want to be part of a rebuild in 2019. Like, get me out of here. And the franchise did. He was traded from Steelers, wasn't very happy about it, put on a brave face, tried to step up and be a leader. But I can tell you, I saw Minkah all the time. Minkah was a hostage.
So that to me is the most interesting part of this whole deal here is what do you do with some of these veterans who most likely want no part of your rebuild? We got to take a pause here, though, Omar. Someone who's been a part of many rebuilds, Alan Poupart. He's been covering a team forever, so this must be rebuild number 10 for him at least. He's got to be in double figures. We're going to talk to him at 8 o'clock. Mike Florio will join us in the 9 o'clock hour, as he always does, and we have a monster weekend of sports. There is, by the way, Omar, there is something for everyone in town this weekend if you are a sports fan. So we'll let you know. Well, we'll set the table for you. Big weekend of sports coming up here, and we'll get to Alan Poupart in the 8 o'clock hour as well. It's coming up next here on QIM.
I'm Nikola Jovic of the Miami Heat.
anything. Slow-moving 95 Express heading southbound before Miami Gardens Drive. An accident causing major backup. It is affecting your left lane. The MMA fight is Saturday, and you can trade on it nationwide on Kalshi. Hernandez is trading at 70% to beat Strickland. That means a $100 trade on Strickland pays out $333 with a win. Download the Kalshi app and use code FAN to get $10 when you trade on 100. Kalshi. Trade on anything. That's traffic. I'm Aliyah Escobar on FM 104.3, and you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
You're listening to The Joe Rose Show. This hour is brought to you by Baptist Health.
Your favorite shows. The games of your favorite South Florida teams. We've got them.
Right here on the Q, baby.
Catch us on FM 104.3 or listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Don't miss a thing.
Welcome back in here on WQAM. Dan, they said the vibes here for this Friday morning. Hollywood, Omar Kelly, Jamie Longer with you as well. Man, rookie mistake here by a lot of these Dolphins fans on our chat. You never buy current Dolphin player jerseys. I think you gotta learn your lesson some point, my friends. And their lesson
for more than a decade, people have asked me, is it safe to buy this guy's jersey?
Nope.
And I've been the arbiter of whether or not it's wise to buy a player's jersey. I would tell you, you are a fool if you are buying any Dolphins jersey at this moment.
There's basically one safe jersey that you can get, and that would be number 13.
You can get a 99 or a 54. I think you got no shame in those.
All right, that's fair. You could get a 99, you get a JT, you get a Zach Thomas. I happen to have my jersey, and I wore my son has the Ricky jersey, and I have the Fiedler jersey. So we go as Jay and Ricky to the games. That's what I wear. But what do I have a Tannehill somewhere, which is now.
I know you got little tiny kid jerseys that they don't fit anymore.
Yeah, I bought. They both had one at a Waddle and one at a Hill. Yeah, man, we bought in just like everyone else. Now I wonder if the Dolphins.
I need to buy it from you. My daughter needs a jersey. My daughter, when they go to school days and they have to wear jerseys.
I got her, man. You don't have to buy it, Omar. I'm gonna give that as a present. You said you got a birthday coming up here, so
yes.
By the way, I'm guessing you could hit the racks at Marshalls or wherever.
Oh yeah, there's Tyreek Hill jerseys there. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I have no shame in putting my daughter in the Tyreek Hill jersey. I know he was controversial the whole time he was here, but Tyreek meant no harm. He just did.
Controversial is a nice, quiet way to put it. Hey, by the way, I meant to ask you this. Did you see the comments from the officer that arrested? Are those real? Because here's the problem. I don't know what's not real anymore.
I don't know if they're real, and I can't there's no way to verify it. And I would think, considering, I would think that they're real, considering he was a but there's no way to verify that was literally him. Anybody can make anything right now, and you don't know if it's real. I'm living through
they were vicious even for Tyreek Hill. They were pretty rough here. But
it just shows you how if it was real, it shows you how vile of a human he was.
Tyreek?
No, the officer. I'm sorry. You could tell based on his actions.
I don't know anything about the officer, to be quite honest with you, but I just saw those comments, and I don't know if they're real or not. I saw them on that Dove Kleiman account, and I don't even know if that's a real person. I don't even know anymore. Twitter's rough out there, man. We got to do some sort of something to verify people. Now anyone can just buy the blue check, right? I mean, you can have a little check mark. So it makes it very tricky. We have a huge weekend of sports coming up that I want to set the table for here. So starting today, we got hockey at 3:10. We got the USA and Slovakia playing in the semifinals of the Olympics. Did I get that right? Dan's nodding his head.
What channel is this? Am I gonna? So I can turn on the TV on what channel and watch it 3:10?
That would be on the Peacock.
Peacock,
on NBC or the Peacock app.
So will it be on NBC or will it be on the Peacock? I don't have the Peacock app, so I don't.
A lot of the games have been on USA, like the USA Network. So I don't know if those will be on today, but that's where every USA hockey game has been so far. So keep an eye out for that one.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe we can verify at some point here where that game is going to be. But it will be on the Peacock app, which I think, I don't know, hopefully most people have. Dan, are we on to something with that one? Are we going down the right path here?
ESPN continually says Peacock. That's all it says.
Fair enough. So Peacock app for hockey today. We have Canes baseball coming up all weekend here. They got a 4-gamer here with Lafayette. The Canes baseball team is off to a 5-0 start. They played a thriller against UCF midweek. They beat Indiana State midweek. And so now they got Lafayette for 4 coming up here this weekend. And I got to tell you, man, I got to say good morning to the president over at the U, Joe Echeverria. Everything that guy touches is turning to gold here at down there in Coral Gables. We got a basketball team that plays tomorrow against Virginia, a monster game for a team that has their sights set on getting to the NCAA tournament. Baseball's off to a fantastic start, and we know that football continues to build up that roster as they get set to make another run at things here. And spring football's around the corner, by the way. We'll be out there for spring football soon enough here as we get through February and then into March. So we got that going on there. The Heat are back tonight as well. They will be on the road to play Atlanta. The Heat slight favorites in that game tonight. You catch that here on WQAM. We have wrestling in town tonight for all of our WWE fans. We got SmackDown at the at Amaranth Bank Arena. So we have that going on. And then coming up on Saturday and Sunday, we have Monster Jam at Lone Depot Park. So I will be going on Sunday for Monster Jam. My son is like so excited for this. He's been talking about it. I want to go see the monster trucks. So we're going down to Lone Depot Park on Sunday to catch Monster Jam. So they have that coming up on Saturday and Sunday, again at Lone Depot Park. So you can still get tickets for that as well. So that sets the table for your weekend. Did I miss anything coming up this weekend? That's a lot of events here. Dan is usually our scheduling guy. He's usually on top of everything that's going on in town. Did I miss anything, Dan Day?
Yes, 2 important things. The Marlins start off spring training baseball. That's tomorrow at 1:00 against the Mets. And Inter Miami opens their MLS season tomorrow night at 9:30 out in Los Angeles against LAFC.
Thank you very much, Dan. Well, that's what happens when you win, Omar.
Well, also, they're starting early this year because they're going to have to take such a long break for the World Cup coming up in just a couple of months.
Yeah, we do have the World Cup coming to town. That should be interesting. I assume that's going to be a borderline impossible ticket to get into a World Cup game. We got the World Baseball Classic coming to town soon as well. Tennis is coming to town soon. Formula One is coming to town. We got a busy calendar to say the least here, and we got again Canes Hoops will be playing through March hopefully. So a lot of stuff coming up here in the next few months in town. All right, we are going to talk to Alan Poupart coming up here as we kick off the 8:00 hour, and this conversation is really interesting, Omar, because I agree. Like a lot of people are kind of ripping Jalen Waddle. He's not that great. He's injured. He's this and that, and I tend to agree with that he's not that great. Now, with that being said, you do need competent players to play these positions. Are you trying to, I'm not going to say tank, but are you rebuilding this thing in a way where you don't want a guy like that here who is in the prime of his career? Whether you think he's good or bad, he's clearly in the prime years of his career. Do you want him here? Does he want to be here and be part of this thing? Because you can't have guys that are going to be culture killers, right? As we learned with Mike McDaniel, you do need to establish some sort of culture here. And if that means bringing in players that are, younger and hungry and just want to, an opportunity, and getting rid of an Omar. I see you making a face.
Yeah, you had
somebody
5 young
said
and
Waddle
hungry
wants to be a
hungry
Dolphin for
players
life.
last year. You had 5 young and hungry rookies last year. How well did they perform?
Yeah, but can you keep guys like Waddle and Achane? Can you keep them happy here? And money only goes.
I don't care about your happiness. I care about whether you have a contract and you fulfill it, and I care about whether it's financially beneficial to move on from you. Right now, it's not financially beneficial to move on from Waddle, and in fact, he was on Teron Armstead's podcast yesterday, and basically was like, "Yeah, I'm all on board with a rebuild." I mean that, but what else is he going to say? But generally, if you're not all on board with a rebuild, you do what Minkah's doing and stay quiet and let your agent handle it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that that he doesn't want to be a part of this. Someone's Fins up on our chat here said, I still have an orange Pat White jersey. That's awesome.
Oh, I love the Pat White jersey.
Pat White jersey. Got to keep that. You know what I was thinking of getting, actually, Omar? I was thinking about getting a Brian Hartline jersey.
Oh, you should.
Maybe hitting up.
I'm sure you can find it on the internet.
Because he's coaching at USF now. I was thinking of maybe.
Hey,
those. What do you think?
I really want to actually go there at spring training and go check on Brian Hartline. I actually want to do that because
want to take a trip up to Tampa? We'll hit Burns and watch some spring football over there.
Absolutely, no question.
All right, maybe we'll do that, Omar. All right, we're going to take a pause. We got Alan Poupart going to join us to kick off the 8 o'clock hour. Mike Florio will join us in the 9 o'clock hour as we continue on here on this Football Friday on QAM.
Man, I want to take a second.
Vaporize that ball. That fun should have gone.
We can also help you lose weight, support
want to speak to you and handle your case personally.
Have a partner with his name on the door handle your case start to finish. Call Cohen and Judah at 866-FAIR-FEE or visit the website cohenandjudah.com.
Your skin is so precious. Cuts and wounds are painful and can leave
AM FM and HD1 Miramar, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. WQAM AM Miami, an Odyssey sports station. The home of champions. The back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. The three-time NBA champion Miami Heat. Home of the five-time national champion Miami Hurricanes. And Miami Hurricanes basketball.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Headlines brought to you by Doral Volkswagen, home of the price Cito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Volkswagen or DoralVolkswagen.com. The U.S. women's hockey team defeated Canada 2-1 in overtime for the gold medal yesterday. The men's team faces Slovakia at 3:10 in the semifinals. Canada and Finland will battle earlier at 10:40. DraftKings has the Dolphins over-under on wins next season at 4.5. The Heat are back in action tonight at 7:30 against the Atlanta Hawks, and the NBA is expected to enact anti-tanking rules. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
All right, welcome back in here on WQAM on this Football Friday. We're going to head right out to the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Shop over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. ToyotaofHollywood.com, where we are joined by our friend. He is the publisher of Miami Dolphins on SI.com, host of the All Dolphins podcast. Alan Poupart is with us. Alan, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. What up, fellas?
What's up?
What up? What up?
So he's also a host of the Dolphins Collective, which will air today at, what are we, noon, Alan?
We are at noon Eastern time.
Noon Eastern time. So a little bit after this show. If you don't know about the Dolphins Collective, you should definitely check it out. But Alan, the Tua dance that we do. I recently wrote a column which basically brought up our two favorite terms, which is the market and show me the money. Those words will haunt the Miami Dolphins franchise for probably about a good decade. How do you think the Miami Dolphins can move on from Tua Tagovailoa this offseason? What's the recipe?
There is no good recipe. It's basically sloppy Joe's, hamburger helper, or mac and cheese. Basically, those are the options. And yeah, you mentioned those two terms. You know how much I love the market is the market and show me the money. Woof. No, there is. I mean, like I said, it's a bad option, or a bad option. Ideally, you're able to trade him, but I think as we pretty much all realize, good luck with that. And okay, so you cut him, they need $99 million all in one fell swoop. It can be done. It just basically leaves you bare bones all over the place.
It cannot be done, Alan. It can be done. Tell me the recipe.
Can be done. It always can be done, except again, it's going to basically cripple the roster all over the place. Or do you make it $67 million, making him a post-June 1, and then $32 million next year? Or do you bite your tongue, grit your teeth, and keep him on the roster?
And not lose anything, by the way, for the record.
Well,
yes.
and they'll count $56 million against the cap. I mean, you're not technically losing anything beyond what's already committed, and
you're going to pay what's committed anyway. So why would you? And that's
correct.
That's the hard. The thing I'm trying to get Dolphin fans to understand is, I mean, we got to look at this from a business standpoint. Put your feelings towards Tua aside for a minute. Put your thoughts about his performance and him falling short and the injuries aside for a minute. Why would you do something that's going to negatively impact you by $11 million just because, oh man, we got to get rid of him? And I hate this perception that people have that Tua is a cancer. That's I'm sorry. I've been around that team for 6 years with Tua. That's not the case. And not to say that he'd be happy to be here as a backup, but Kirk Cousins wasn't happy to be a backup in Atlanta. He grinned and bared it and made it through.
No argument with anything you just said, but this is the part where you have a whole new regime, new GM, new head coach. They want to establish their foundation, establish their, I don't like the word, but I'm going to use it anyway, culture. And that requires a clean slate, moving on from anything of the past that dragged the Dolphins down or didn't get the Dolphins anywhere. And if paying $11 million above and beyond what you already owed Tua, because, and you made a very good point I want to get back to in a second, it might be worth the $11 million to do that. And because, as you mentioned, the best scenario if they actually keep him is for him to wind up on IR. Is that really that much more? What's the word I'm looking for? Is that much better than just moving on from him and just at an additional $11 million of cap space? But you made a very good point in your column, and that the Dolphins put themselves in a position. By the time they gave Tua the extension in 2024, they basically had given themselves no out, because they had left themselves with Mike White and Skylar Thompson as the other option if Tua decided to play hardball, which he wisely did.
Yeah, and which is what forced their hand. I wrote a column that actually got posted this morning, which was about the lessons we should have learned from the Tua extension. I discussed it a little bit on this show. And those lessons will come into play this offseason in regards to Devon Achane. I mean, everybody knows Devon Achane wants his money. They know what the price point is. It's $30 million guaranteed, 5 years, $50 million. That is market value for his position, for a player of his stature. If you were the Miami Dolphins, would you give it to him?
I would not make a long-term commitment to any running back. It's to me, it's not cost effective. And running backs with the wear and tear, and he's gotten a lot of usage the past 2 seasons. I don't anticipate that's going to change in 2026, because I don't see the Dolphins necessarily having a whole lot of offensive options based on the money they have to spend. So that's going to be another year of wear and tear. You have him under control for the next 2 years if you want to play that game. Again, he's got 1 year left on his deal, and then the Dolphins can go franchise tag if it comes to that. And one of the lessons the Dolphins should have learned from that, there's no word to describe how bad what they did in the summer of 2024 was, not only with Tua, with Jalen Ramsey, with Tyreek Hill, even with Mike McDaniel. The biggest lesson they should have done is do not overcommit to good players just because you're feeling good and all giddy about what they've just accomplished in the previous season. Devon Chen is a complete stud. You want to keep him around, get all that. Do not lock yourself into this guy with a long-term contract that's going to cost you a lot of money and potentially could wind up biting you in the ass if things go south.
Alan, wouldn't you consider trading him at this point, though? I mean, his value is never going to be higher. My concern with, we were talking about him, Waddle, Minkah, players like that are in their prime that, are they going to be frustrated being here, being a part of this rebuild? And, we know what that can do to the culture that they're trying to build here. But, these guys, like, their value is never, especially Achane, like, his value will never be higher than it is right now. And if you bring him back here and, things go really poorly this season and he starts, complaining that he wants out, you're going to get a fraction of what you would have gotten now, right?
Well, I might take exception to suggesting his value will never be higher, because any team that acquires him is going to face the same situation where he's going to want a new deal wherever he is. So that's always going to be a factor when teams talk to the Dolphins about trading for Achane. They're going to be like, yeah, I mean, he's a great player and all that, but now we have to deal with the headache of giving him a contract extension. So that's going to diminish what we're going to give you in a trade. So you can't trade everybody. I get it. Some folks like this idea of, okay, we're in a rebuild and all that. Let's set the stage for the future. Let's trade everybody who's got market value. You can't do that. You can't go everybody. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, what's the realistic timetable for being able to compete or contend? Certainly doesn't look like 2026. 2027, NFL turnarounds don't necessarily take very long anymore. I think it's very easy to see the Dolphins needing somebody like an Achane if they are to compete in 2027. So I think long and hard before trading him, unless obviously you get blown away by an offer, and that applies to anybody though.
Wouldn't the timetable of the turnaround, isn't that essentially based on whether or not you can find a quarterback, right? Like if they bring in Malik Willis and he ends up being the guy, then maybe this thing gets accelerated. If they decide, the guy's not out there right now, and clearly this is a weaker draft class, does that set you back a whole nother year in this rebuild? Because isn't that basically what this kind of boils down to here? And that's why we saw like a team like the Patriots, they got their rebuild done so quickly because they had a quarterback that, and I know they made a lot of other, additions to that team, but they had a quarterback that played at an MVP level.
Sure, but the flip side to that is if I told you 2 years ago Sam Darnold is going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback, you'd have said, what? You're crazy? Mm-hmm. So I get the idea. Obviously, everything speeds up in terms of timetable. If you get yourself a Drake May or somebody like that, those aren't growing on trees. And the other argument could be made is, while he made some plays here and there, New England navigated through the playoffs all the way to the Super Bowl without a ton of contribution from Drake May. So I think what the Dolphins need to do above and beyond anything else is to build up a foundation of talent. Right now, it's just a very talent-poor roster. So I think they can get to 2027 without necessarily, and being in contention without necessarily landing like a complete stud quarterback, an MVP caliber quarterback. It obviously would help, but don't know that that's necessary. They have other steps that they need to take care of first.
Where do you sit, Alan, in regards to the Malik Willis courtship? Next week is the NFL Combine. We all know that that's what's used for free agent negotiations. If you're having your meeting with Malik Willis's agent, what's the hypothetical offer you would put on the table?
And here's the thing too is yeah, I'm like torn on Malik Willis because I get he's very appealing as a possibility, but this is where I'll go again. Do not lock yourselves into, the Green Bay folks fell in love with what they saw in terms of his potential. Okay, they give him a 4-year deal. We can't get out of it for the next 3, or we can get out of it, but it's going to be really, really painful. That would be not learning from the previous lessons of the organization, even though they weren't made by John Eric Sullivan and Jeff Hafley. To me, it's one of those deals where, 2-year deal, $40 million, something like that, but a deal where you can get out of it after the first year if it goes south.
There's no way he's taking anything that's short of a 3-year deal. Not a chance.
Well, okay, then a 3-year deal we can get out of. You at least can get out of it after 2. Do not lock yourself in for the long term. The problem is going to be, I think you may get better offers than that because there are a lot of teams looking for quarterbacks, and there ain't a whole lot out there. Steelers are going to come hard after him if Aaron Rodgers moves on to another team or retires, and different reporting suggests, yes, he's going to go back to the Steelers. No, he's not. Jets badly need a quarterback. The Browns, who collect quarterbacks like people collect stamps, I maybe go after him too, even though they already have Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Deshaun Watson coming back. Arizona may go after him. Whole lot of different teams are going to be.
Indianapolis. Indianapolis. I don't know. I think I'm not sure he's the first domino. I would think that Kyler Murray is the first domino. From the quarterback standpoint, and then maybe even Geno Smith. I know he had a horrible year last year, but Geno Smith's more I'm not saying that he's going to get paid more than Malik Willis. We're talking about 6 games of starter experience, Alan. Like 6 games. This isn't like a big sample size.
But here's the thing, though. With Malik Willis, you have possibilities that there's a whole lot more out there based on what he showed. And I know the sample size is extraordinarily small. Geno Smith, I'm sorry, by now we know who is what he is. And if you saw the Raiders last year, woof, not good. And I know he had a crappy team around him, but it's like, yeah, he's going to be decent to solid if he has a really, really good team around him, but a ton of quarterbacks can do that. To me, if you have the chance of signing Geno Smith or Malik Willis and you sign Geno Smith, financial considerations being similar, you should be fired on the spot. And with Kyler Murray is really, really polarizing. He's one of those. I've seen him a couple of times where he gets off to like a really good start. Halfway point of the year comes and he just crashes. There's a very well documented issues about work ethic. He also is under contract with a pretty big salary. I do not believe, for me, for a second, Kyler Murray would be a better option than Malik Willis.
Alan Poupart here with us on QAM. Alan, just curious your thoughts on this Tyreek Hill deal here. Does he end up playing somewhere else? Do you think that he's going to have to hang it up? A lot of us think, Omar, I think included in this one, that if anyone's going to make a comeback, it's going to be Tyreek Hill. Clearly, there are some teams that would be interested in his services if he's able to go. Kansas City, Buffalo kind of stand out there. But do you see him making an NFL comeback?
I think he'll try it. I mean, whether it pans out or not, we don't know. And I'm not a doctor. All I know is what my eyes showed me on September 30th. And it's like, my first thought is, oh man, is he ever playing again? And yeah, for everything that's been said about Tyreek Hill, the dude's a worker. He's also a physical freak. So I absolutely would not close the door on the idea of him coming back. Is he ever going to be anywhere close to Tyreek Hill, though? And if he doesn't have the explosiveness that made him special, then he's an undersized wide receiver with average hands who comes with a lot of baggage. So I don't know exactly how attractive he would be in that sense. But my best guess is he's going to get a shot at some point. Not sure how it's going to play out, whether it's going to be the first step for him. He's got to be able to pass a physical. Okay, which obviously didn't with the Dolphins, which is why you see that failed physical designation that came with his release. So I wouldn't say no. I would say I'd be very surprised if he was playing at the start of 2026. If he were to come back at some point in 2026, I necessarily wouldn't be shocked. But I also wouldn't necessarily count on him being able to make a comeback and get close to where he was.
I can tell you without a doubt he's going to be playing in 2026. Whether that's going to be at the start of the season or not, I don't know. But he put out there was video of him yesterday, and he's showing you I'm working my way back. I mean, running, doing agility drills. I've seen it behind the scenes stuff, and I'm like, my mind is blown of what he can do, and it's more evidence that he is indeed a freak of nature. He is one of the human freaks of the world.
Yeah, no, the dude's put together like crazy, and then he works at it.
Well, Alan, we're going to see. It's going to be an interesting offseason. Certainly here for the Dolphins as it continues on, and we'll check back in with you as this thing continues to roll. So, Alan, thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
Of course, anytime, guys. And Omar, I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you, man.
All right, Alan Poupart with us, and Omar will be with him noon today, you said, Omar?
Noon today on the Dolphins Collective. You could just search YouTube and Dolphins Collective, and you can find it. 4-man podcast with somebody that you instigated a beef with last year. So
who did I instigate a beef with? I wouldn't have done that. Who?
Oh, you wouldn't have done that?
Obviously, I didn't instigate anything because now you guys are friends. You're co-workers now.
Yeah. You kind of brought that into play. Yeah.
If anything, I bring people together, Omar. I'm not here to divide. I'm here to bring people together.
You do realize I know you, right?
I know that. I know, but obviously, my work has been done well here, Omar, because I brought you together with a new Dolphin friend. That's at noon today. Omar will be with Alan, and who else you with?
Dudley Durong and TD.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
Yeah, it's the whole podcast crew, man.
Man.
It's like a around the horn podcast for Dolphins talk.
I love that. So we'll have that later today. We have to take a pause. There is a lot coming up this weekend in sports here. We got baseball, basketball, monster trucks, wrestling.
Monster trucks.
We got a little bit of everything coming up here.
How much are those monster truck tickets?
What's that?
How much are those monster truck tickets?
That's a good question, Omar. We'll talk about that off to the side here. All right, I'll let you know about that. But we do have a lot coming up here in town. I'm actually going to wrestling tonight. I have not been to a wrestling event since I want to say I was in high school. But now that I have children, they are interested in this, so we're going to that tonight. We'll get to some of this other stuff here. Mike Florio is coming up with us, and this NFL media rights thing. I saw that article yesterday. That was crazy to say the least.
You know what's a good question, because you know what sweetens a media rights deal? An 18th game.
Oh God, I am anti more games, Omar. I know, man. I just it dilutes the product. You know, these games are big events. They also cause a lot of injuries. So I am more of like, let's get through the season when we can here.
They already played 20 games. They're just going to change one from an exhibition to actually one that counts.
All right. Well, we'll talk to Mike Flory about that in the 9 o'clock hour as we continue on here on this Football Friday on QAM.
Hey, right now I want to talk to you about Mike Okachi at Choice So orthopedic hand surgery.
Five 3100 800-885-3100 800-8.
On FM 1043, and you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
This award is brought to you by the Casino at Dania Beach. Catch highlight at the Dania Beach Fronton through February 28th. February is heating up at the Casino at Dania Beach. Enjoy new, exciting promotions all month long. Plus, the hottest slots, great shows, dining, live poker, highlight, and new members can win up to $5,000 in free play. Join the fun at the Casino at Dania Beach.
We've made it easy to find us. Listen to WQAM on FM 1043 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Wow, that was so easy.
All of our shows are there live or on demand. Plus, there's the cool rewind feature where you can listen to any part of any show you might have missed. Anytime.
Welcome back in here on QAM on this Football Friday. Hollywood, Omar Kelly, Dan Day, Jamie Long here with you. Big weekend coming up here in South Florida. Dan, you got something going on tonight? I saw Dan tweeting out here. Dan's got something going on tonight, and if Dan Day's got an event, it needs promotion. What do you got, Dan Day?
I'm just going to be playing some music over at Duffy's and Plantation, talking football, hanging out. Just good times, man. Music, selecting, you know. Just
Duffy's and Plantations. Oh, 2-for-1 drink special tonight, huh?
Always. Every day, all the time.
started, Dan? What time do you get started over there?
I'm supposed to start at 7, but sometimes I kind of get started early because it's just too good of a time. So 6:30-ish, 7 o'clock officially, and then until midnight or until they kick me out. Whatever.
What's the lady situation looking like at Duffy's over there on a Friday night?
Oh yeah, usually pretty good. It's 2 for 1, and every once in a while the nice gentlemen there are willing to buy one for them, and that means they get 2 drinks. So the ladies come on out and usually get the line dancing going a little bit as the night goes on, and it gets
line dancing too.
Yeah,
Oh,
play some
okay.
Cupid Shuffle. Play some of the Pitbull line dance song. It gets good.
This might be good for Omar here, who's been catfished multiple times apparently on dating apps. Which is, I got to tell you, Omar, I was very disturbed to hear this news today. I did not know that you had been catfished multiple times, like Manti Te'o or Aaron Rodgers. This is very, very disturbing stuff here. So maybe you go out to Dan Day's event tonight, and you don't have to worry about AI.
Find them in the wild. Find them in the wild. Yeah. It's just par for course, my friend. That's why I've learned now you got to FaceTime early. And now I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to take a step back. You're gonna have to take a step back. Give me a little circular action. We are at this stage of life now. AI is too tricky, and women are using AI for dating apps.
People are using AI for a lot of things these days. But Dan Day's got his event tonight. Dan, so you're DJing at this thing. Do you get to pick whatever kind of music you want? Or is there
That's generally how DJing works?
Are there parameters? Do you have to play like a certain genre of music, or is it just like whatever you're feeling at that moment?
Yeah, it really is whatever I'm feeling. There's no parameters on it. And a lot of times I just like to take requests. So one song will be like, Shabuzi, a bar song, and then the next it'll go into like an Iron Maiden song. Just, people start throwing out requests. Then maybe a kid will come by and request Baby Shark. I'll play Baby Shark. It's just a hodgepodge, man. Everything for everybody.
Do you ever play any of the
make one request? I would like a Luther Campbell set. Just
well, yeah, you get Scarred. You're gonna get some. I even throw in Lizard every once in a while. Stuff like that.
It's not the booby trap. It's a family establishment. Come on, Omar.
You want to get the action going.
Get to play do you play like the house music, and you jump up and down and pretend like you're turning knobs and stuff at because that to me is like the cool. Those are the cool DJs, the ones that play that music and they're turning knobs and jumping up and down. And I know they're not doing
the button.
So cool nonetheless.
A little bit over there, but my days of club DJing I think are slim to none anymore. But I have done that where you get on the mic and put your hands up. How you feeling, love? If you're feeling good,
and then the smoke comes out.
And the smoke's yeah.
I've told DJ Zog from Power 96. I asked him if just one time I could just do one song at one of his club gigs. I just want to stand there, turn the knobs, and push the button that makes the fog go, and that's it. Just once. I get to do the talk radio thing, but I've always wanted to do the big house song at the club just once, and I want to turn some knobs that don't do anything, and and watch
your hand in the air and just start turning knobs. Yeah,
like I'm Calvin Harris or something,
Yeah, mess around with your headphones.
I saw a video of Calvin Harris. He was at one of these places down here recently, and he plays the same stuff that he's been playing since when we used to go, when we were in our 20s. It's just the same stuff over and over again. He still gets excited over it, which is cool, but I just the same stuff and fake knobs, and the song doesn't sound any different, right? I mean, he is turning knobs and flipping switches, but anyway, I digress. Dan Day is going to be DJing tonight. Dan, I might have to stop by, man. We'll see if time allows. If this wrestling event doesn't go too late into the night, fingers crossed.
You gotta bring your kids.
Yeah, of course I would bring my oldest. I would bring him to see Dan Day's DJ set. He's very cultured, man. He likes music. We go to concerts. Apparently now we go to wrestling. So we try to do everything.
I really think he calls the shots in the relationship, to be honest with you. Or either you use him,
I call,
or you use him as an excuse to do things.
Sometimes yes, but not. But this one tonight, this is a for him thing. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna throw in some earplugs, and I'm gonna just sit there and put a smile on my face, and By the way, I just got my earplug. You gotta wear earplugs to this thing, I would think, because they got those massive like indoor firework things. And if I zone out and I'm like on my phone or something, I don't want to end up, with wet pants because the building sounds like it's blowing up.
You know what? I have earplugs, but I've never worn them to concerts because I feel like I'm fully committed to going deaf. I
will tell you too, Omar, there have been major advances in the earplug game. And now I wear them to every concert that I go to because I do value my hearing, and I wear headphones every single day. And so I try to keep my hearing as strong as possible. But they have these earplugs now that you can get, and they're not just those like pieces of foam that you wedge into your ear. They have like music filters in them. And so the concert sounds perfect. Like it sounds exactly how it should. It's just not, you're not going to walk out of there with your ears ringing is basically what those accomplish, which is not good for you, by the way. I hear Dan Day, you're a club guy. The ears ringing is not good for your long-term ear health. What do they call it? Tinnitus or something?
Tinnitus, yeah. Tinnitus. It causes headaches. It causes like lockjaw. It causes a lot of problems with the above the neck, not just your ears. It's your balance. It really messes with a lot of things.
Maybe that's why Omar fell down when we raced, because he's been going all these concerts with no earplugs.
I was wondering how long it was going to take you to bring that up. Your
eternal
victory lap.
It's actually a valid excuse. So there you go. Hopefully we can get some people out to Dan Day's event tonight, though. Dan, plug that thing one more time for me before we go off the break here.
Yeah, just Duffy's and Plantation right there on University around 7 o'clock all the way to midnight. And what's cool about it is a lot of people come up and we talk sports and talk about some of the things we can't talk about on the air. So you get a little more insight into some of the stuff and hear some good jams and have some good drinks and maybe see some fine young people dancing.
All right, now I'm kind of interested to hear what Dan Day talks about that he's not allowed to talk about on the air. And I will tell you, like guys like Joe, and not to get too much into his stuff, but he has stories that are not for the air that I have heard him tell, and nobody's got more stories than that guy. Like he could write a book, but his off the air stories are excellent. I'm sure Dan has some good ones. So hopefully people can make it out there tonight and support our guy Dan Day and his
2 for 1 drinks, people.
2 for 1 drink.
And Duffy's food is pretty good.
Duffy's food is fantastic. So that's a good night. Good night out there. If you're not going to wrestling tonight or Canes baseball, you can go out there and they'll have. I'm sure they'll have the Heat game on. So you watch the Heat game out there as well.
But Danny, you've got quite the weekend tonight. You're wrestling tomorrow night. Monster Jam.
So, well, Dan, Sunday is Monster Jam. Saturday, I have a Canes basketball game. And it is opening day for T-ball and baseball. So the Optimist League, I got opening day tomorrow. Apparently, we're going to get like the Billy of Marlin or something's coming out there. So that should be exciting. So the kids will like that. Every team is the Marlins in the T-ball league, just different colors of Marlins. So we're the light blue Marlins. But the Marlins they have a lot of different color schemes now that they have those new uniforms. So there's we got that going. Busy weekend, man. Busy weekend. Never a dull moment around here, Dan. But that's what's going on here in town. Hopefully you can get out and support our boy Dan Day. We have to take a pause. Mike Florio's around the corner as we continue on here on this Football Friday on QAM.
WQAM broadcasting live from the Ed
Welcome back in here on QAM. Here's a preview of what to expect from Dan Day's DJ set tonight. We got Mike Florio is going to join us around the corner here. I'm Hollywood. Omar Kelly is with us. Dan Day and Jamie here as well on this beautiful Friday. Sun is out, and looks like another beautiful day here. Another nice weekend. Canes baseball is in town here this weekend. If you want to get out there, Omar, that's one I assume you have never been to. I'm going to take you out to a Canes baseball game. Have you been to a Canes baseball game yet?
You know, I covered the Canes for like 7 years, right? I know about the Mark Light Shake.
Oh, okay. So you have been out there.
Yeah, I covered everything. Canes football, Canes basketball, Canes baseball. I was there.
All right.
For years.
And now
I've actually been to Omaha. What are you talking about? I've been to Omaha like twice.
Wow. All right. So I didn't know that you covered baseball, but we have essentially banned you from campus recently here because I don't like your negativity towards the program. But we'll lift that, and we'll allow you to go to a game with me this year. We'll go catch a baseball game. There's only 2 more basketball home games, by the way, as things start to ramp down for basketball. I know. Well,
we're almost in March.
February, man. It's February 20th already. Right.
Yeah.
So March is around the corner. The tournament is like less than a month away.
This year's going like the snap of a finger.
It really is moving quickly here. I think a lot of that had to do with whenever you keep busy, these off seasons seem to go shorter and shorter. Like it seems like you get to the next thing quicker. Like, remember when the Heat were winning every year and they were playing like all the way through like July? And then, like, by the time Heat season would end, Dolphins training camp was starting like next week.
Yeah, we'd be in the playoffs during the draft. Yeah, we'd watch the draft went on.
We've gotten kind of spoiled with that, and the Panthers have carried us the last few years late into the offseason. I don't know that that's going to be the case this year, although, look, there's still plenty of hockey left to play. We'll see if the Cats can make their run, and we'll see if the Heat can make some sort of turnaround here. The Heat looked like they were going to contend in the East in the beginning of the season. They have settled back into mediocrity here and look like a playing team once again. But tonight is a good game, good opportunity for them. They're going to be on the road. They're going to play the Hawks. They're slight favorites in that one, about 3.5-point favorites tonight. Tyler Hero back in the lineup. So hopefully the Heat can make some sort of run here and keep us busy along with the Panthers. We got soccer starting up, as Dan mentioned earlier. We got soccer coming up this weekend. So there is Marlin spring training. There's something for everyone going on right now. Tennis is coming to town very soon next month, and then that'll be followed up by Formula One. They had F1 testing, by the way, this morning for all of our F1 fans out there. There was testing going on. There's a new Cadillac team this year in the mix for F1. So there's
testing like a big thing. Is that what people watch or event?
Fans of the sport are following along with it. I would think.
I haven't even seen them build up the complex yet. So I when they start building up the complex, I'll get a little bit more excited. But now,
have you been F1 yet?
Oh yeah, we had a phenomenal ticket last year. We were actually on the inside of the track on a yacht. So I'm blessed. Let's put it that way.
I might hit you up for a ticket for that one. How about that, Omar? The tables have turned.
You are my ticket master. Yes.
I know. And the tickets, Joe didn't get me tickets in the yacht, man. So I might have to hit you up for tickets for that thing. All right,
I was very fortunate. Let's put it that way.
Yes,
and I'm very thankful. Yes.
Mike Florio is going to join us. There is so much to get to with Mike, and man, there's just Omar, there's a lot of stuff going on in the NFL between media rights, and I'm curious, when we talked with him about this last week, I don't know what you think about this. Are you familiar with these prediction markets that people are using? It's it's not technically sports gambling, but it probably is sports gambling.
I understand the concept. Anybody trying to get money from me with the enticement of me getting money from them, and they are a profitable $1 billion or $1 million business, I don't trust you. Casinos, I know I walk in there. If I'm gambling $100, I expect to walk out of there without $100.
Well, yeah, I mean that's how it usually that's why they have those nice buildings, and all that nice stuff inside those nice buildings because the house is favored. Usually the house wins. But yes, look, at the end of the day, these are supposed to be entertainment products. I know that that's not always the case, but these prediction markets, this thing is really, really bizarre. And we did talk to Mike about that last week, but certainly curious to get his thoughts on everything going on with the Dolphins and all the moves that they've made, and his thoughts on Malik Willis and now Tyreek Hill. Where will he end up? Does Mike even think Tyreek's got a shot to continue on here? And Mike will also discuss what's next for Tua. When can this move be made? Will the Dolphins entertain the thought of perhaps maybe keeping him? We'll get to all that with Mike. The 9 o'clock hour is next here on QAM.
Baptist Health South Florida's got something in common with all these teams.
BopperTech.com to discover movement that inspires.
I'm Bopper, founder.
I'm at 773 Network. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773 Network.
This is the legendary WQAM FM and HD1 Miramar, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. WQAM Miami, an Odyssey sports station. The home of Joe Rose with Hollywood, Tobin and Leroy, and Hawk Crowder and Solana. South Florida sports lives here.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Headlines brought to you by Doral Volkswagen, home of the price Cito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Volkswagen or DoralVolkswagen.com. U.S. men's hockey against Slovakia today at 3:10 in the semifinals. Canada and Finland play earlier at 10:40. The Heat back in action tonight, 7:30 against the Hawks. Tyler Hero is probable. Hurricanes baseball team hosts a 4-game weekend series against Lafayette starting at 7. And the men's basketball team for the Miami Hurricanes looking to win 5 in a row tomorrow at 2 when they play 14th ranked Virginia on the road. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
Welcome back in here on WQAM. Boy, Dan Day, that is a lot in that update, man. There's a lot going on here. I'm Hollywood. Omar Kelly with us as well, along with Jamie. We got some tickets to give away. We're going to give tickets away to see Alabama February 28th at the Pompano Beach Amphitheater. We will take caller number 5 right now, 305-567-0560. Talk to Dan Day. Be nice to him, and he will take care of you and get you set up for that one there. So that is our giveaway for today. Boy, people are still fighting over Tua. I pull our chat back up here, Omar, and they are fighting over Tua.
What are they fighting about?
It is just, to me, like, we wasted 7 years of our lives debating Ryan Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
What year are we on? Honestly, I'm losing track of time here.
6, but there's no debate right now. There
is apparently, because someone's like, how accurate he is, this and that, and
who is the second most accurate quarterback in NFL history behind Joe Burrow?
Yeah, apparently. Numbers sometimes can be misleading, though. Omar
Tua had a good run till his arm died on him, and the coaching staff was calling plays to compensate for what was going on, and it is what it is, man. This is where we are. He's owed $54 million. But the one thing that I do want people to understand, and I wrote about this in a column in the Miami Herald after, really, because a lot of people say, oh, we should all just take this cap hit year one and move on with our lives. Taking a $43 million cap hit is fundamentally impossible. The only way, when I did the calculations and did the numbers and actually crunched in and looked at how possibly could they cut him before June 1st, you'd literally have to waive 5 starters. Chubb, who's already been waived, who's already going to be waived, but he's going to be a June 1st cut. You'd have to waive Austin Jackson. You'd have to waive Alec Ingold. You'd have to waive the kicker. You'd have to waive Tyrell Dodson. Then you'd have to trade Minkah and Devon Achane. And that's just to get to the point where you can swallow the Tua release. So you're telling me that I got to get rid of 7 starters just to get rid of Tua because people want his dead money off the books in 1 year? Like, are you people crazy? And that's before, that just gets you to 0. That's before signing a single player on your roster who you don't have enough players on your roster, and before even signing your draft class, which is probably going to cost you about $5.5 million in cap space. So you're going to have to purge even more. And realistically, there's nobody left to purge. After I've made those cuts, you have only two options, which is restructure Aaron Brewer and restructure Jordan Brooks. And neither of those guys are looking for a pay cut. They're looking for a pay raise. So don't think that these restructures are going to be painless and easy. So to those who think that Tua's going to be gone, Tua's going to be here for a couple more months, people. He's not going to be traded. Nobody's taking that contract from you. And he is not going to be released until June 1st, if released at all, because realistically, and I hate to say this to Dolphin fans, you're better off financially if you keep him and put him on IR. You cut him and you're losing $11 million. Huh?
Wait a sec. You can't throw him on IR. Doesn't he have to be hurt?
You could do
what are you going to say? His feelings are hurt?
Did you see his arm last year?
Yeah, I saw his arm. And you know what? To be quite honest, if he is hurt, the Dolphins, I said this last year, did him a massive disservice and did their organization a massive disservice by not just saying he's hurt and we're going to put him on the bench the rest of the year. Instead, they basically said he sucks and we're going to bench him and start the third string guy because
they didn't say that. They didn't say that. What they did is not. No, they didn't. What they did is not address what the issue was. Tua stopped. People don't realize this, but Tua stopped throwing the final 2 weeks of the season, not even at practice. The problem is they won't acknowledge what's going on because there's an injury guarantee tied to next year. So, there's a whole lot of tap dancing going on here about preserving and protecting money. But I'm sorry, we don't know exactly what caused the decline of the arm, the loss of velocity, but that was what was going on. The loss of velocity led to a loss of confidence and led to a conservativeness of play calling and led to a no hurry up offense calling. And once Mike was confronted by what the hell is going on here, he had to acknowledge something's wrong with Tua. And Mike did acknowledge when I asked him, how can a quarterback regain their velocity? When I wasn't speaking in specifics, he did provide a game plan for how Tua can get some velocity back. And it's a long road ahead for Tua.
Well, we'll ask Mike Florio about that. Omar, really quick, I don't know if you want to weigh in on this story here. Did you see the Teddy Bridgewater Act, the new this would be called a bill or a law or whatever
that head coach
has passed. To allow coaches use up to $15,000 of their own money to support student athletes with food, transportation, and recovery services. So that is obviously we know what happened with Teddy Bridgewater down here, and looks like they've passed a new law here in Florida. Seems like kind of a shame that they made an example out of Teddy, and now they've gone and passed this, but. Nevertheless,
I am actually glad they made an example of Teddy because it proves that he could have gone and been a backup in the NFL. He chose to be a high school coach. Like the two times he was a high school coach, he went and got an NFL job. Teddy's a very competent backup in the NFL. So he chose to make less money to actually contribute and help out young kids, and we penalized him for it. Like, what are we doing? So I'm glad this law has been passed, but I really hope Teddy doesn't go back to Miami Northwestern. I truly do. It doesn't hurt that my Chiefs, we're building a powerhouse right now. We got all the Chaminade boys. We got our quarterback. We're ready to rock, baby. The Chiefs will be back this year. For those who know what's going on in high school football, we're loading up. We got a powerhouse, baby.
Might have to get you out there coaching a little bit, Omar. Let's see if we can put you as what would you be if you were going to be a coach? Are you a better offensive mind or defensive mind? Where would you coach?
I'm a defensive mind, and I'd want to be a play caller. Yeah.
Okay, so you'd be like the Brian Flores of one of these teams. Although I think you and Brian Flores didn't get along, right? Was that you that didn't get along with him?
No, it was me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Not you. All right, we're going to talk to Mike Florio when we come back here. We'll ask about this Teddy Bridgewater situation here. The Teddy Bridgewater Act that has just passed, which does seem like good news. Teddy's a good guy, and not very disappointing what ended up happening with him. But hopefully, this is something good that has come out of that. We'll talk to him about this Tua situation and maybe Tyreek Hill. Dolphins with some other guys have been released as the new Dolphins front office. They're going to have their hands full over the coming weeks and months. We will talk to Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk when we come back here on QAM.
All right. Hey, man, it's Truck Month at your South Florida.
South Florida to serve you, including our new
identity fraud.
What do I do?
My
By Lexus of Kendall and Lexus of West Kendall. Your home for the best price on luxury.
And up to $5,000 in free play. Join the fun at the casino at Dania Beach.
Cool ways to listen to us.
Okay, I'd like to hear them then.
On FM 104.3 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Same great shows, same great games. Plus, you can use the rewind feature and listen to anything you missed. Go for it.
Well, welcome back in here on WQAM. It is time to head back to the Toyota of Hollywood Hotline. Shop over 2,000 Toyotas on sale. One location, Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. ToyotaofHollywood.com, where we are joined by Pro Football Talks Mike Florio. Mike, thank you for the time as always. Appreciate it. How you doing?
Doing great. How are you guys today?
Good, good. We have been discussing a lot of the Dolphins' moves that have occurred this week, and essentially what it boils down to, Mike, is what are they going to do with Tua Tagovailoa? That seems to be the big question. No matter who else they release, it seems to always boil down to the quarterback here, Mike, and we know the ramifications of his contract. What do you see happening here, and what do you see the timeline looking like for Tua?
Well, the problem with all this is we go back 2 years ago when he was entering his fifth-year option, $24 million. They felt compelled to give him a new contract. They were bidding against themselves when they gave him a market-level deal. No one else would have paid him that if he was on the market at the time. They should have just finished out the fifth-year option and made a decision after the season. The decision would have been far different after 2024 than the decision was before 2024, and now they have a mess. $54 million. He's due every penny in 2026. $99 million plus in dead cap money they're going to have to deal with. And the way I took the comments last week from the new GM, John Eric Sullivan, this isn't a question of is he going to be the starter or is he going to be on the bench. This is how are we going to get ourselves out of this mess? And I think that's what they're still trying to figure out. They'd love to be able to trade him. They'd love to be able to get something for him. I don't think they're going to get anything for him. I think they're just going to have to cut him. And it'll be after the league year begins if they do the post-June 1 release and split the cap charge over 2 years, or they just pull the Band-Aid off and take the full $99 million and move on. And some people around the league think they will. I think it's stupid to do that because
they actually
can't. In 2 years count
I've
less
the
than
numbers,
they do
Mike.
this year.
I've crunched the numbers, Mike. They cannot take that full cap hit. There's no way for them to physically create $43 million without restructuring Aaron Brewer and Jordan Brooks, and they actually want raises. So, and it's just not feasible. So I personally believe that he's going to be a June 1st cut. Let me ask you this, Mike. If the Dolphins threw in half of the contract in 2026 and say threw in a 4th-round pick, do you think that a team would be enticed enough, like the Browns were with Brock Osweiler, to take on Tua's contract?
Well, when you think back to the Osweiler situation, the Browns basically got a 2nd-round pick for $17 million in cap space and cash. So they bought a 2nd-round pick from the Texans. They kept Osweiler around. They cut him at the end of the preseason. It was all about getting a 2nd-round pick for $17 million. So what's the price and what does it take? And, the Rams did the same thing with Jared Goff. It just wasn't as obvious because it was part of the Goff-Stafford trade. They essentially gave the Lions a 1st-round pick to take Goff's contract on. It just wasn't as blatant and clear as the Osweiler move. Is there a way, and somebody raised this point, I don't think it really solves the problem for either team. If you did like a Kyler Murray to a Tagovailoa trade, it would be less obvious where the imbalance is and who's giving up what to unload cap space and cash. But I think part of the problem is, Omar, there's so many different ways this can go. How do you find a team who's willing to do exactly what the Dolphins are willing to do? How do you, the old Venn diagrams they used to teach us in school, how do you find 2 circles that'll kiss when you've got that much money at play, that much cap space at play? And I don't think the Dolphins are going to want to be even further embarrassed by attaching a significant draft pick just to get this guy off the books. A lot of fans won't understand that, even if the media tries to explain why they're doing it. It just underscores what a disaster that contract was. So they're in a mess. And Omar, I've seen you suggest they should just keep him on the roster if they got to pay him anyway. I don't know how that works in the locker room if he's still there. I'm sure he won't want to be there. But that's one other potential solution, is just hang on to him because you got to pay him anyway.
Put him on IR. You got to pay him anyway. Put him on IR. You can cut him next year. $40 million creates $40 million in the cap space. Problem solved. If you don't want him in the locker room, then IR. Clearly something's wrong. Go get another hip surgery. But then that probably opens up the injury guarantee for the next year. So it's not an easy spot to be in. But hey, c'est la vie. Mike, I wanted to ask you this question because I've been doing my research on this Malik Willis situation, and I've seen people throw out outrageously ridiculous, crazy numbers that I do not believe. And I know you're a cynic like me, so I know you don't believe them either. He has 6 starts of NFL experience. Name me the last quarterback that got the call up from being a backup to a starter, not a player that the team traded for then paid, but name me somebody who got paid to go from a backup to a starter. I got 3 names for you. I got Jay Fiedler. I got Scott Mitchell. Interestingly enough, both are 2 Dolphins players. And I got Elvis Gerback. Can you come up with another?
I'd put Tyrod Taylor in there. He was a backup in Baltimore for 4 years before he became the Bills starter. I'd have to do the research on his contract, but those days are gone where you have a backup quarterback who spends his full 4 years as number 2 on the roster, and then when the opportunity comes to be a free agent, somebody else makes him the starter walking through the door. But here's the difference with Malik Willis. When he's played the last 2 years, he's been spectacular. His passer rating's over 134, 6 touchdown passes, no interceptions, completion percentage north of 75, I believe, over 10 yards per attempt. Those numbers are crazy. So if you have a team out there that is willing, based upon limited film, to bet on this guy becoming a star, that's how the numbers go up. But here's the other caveat. You got to have multiple teams that believe it. Sam Darnold last year got $33.5 million after a 14-win season. Why? Only one team wanted him. So the more teams that are at the table, the more the contract is going to be worth. And if I'm Malik Willis, I'd want to go somewhere on a 1-year deal, ideally with no tag on the back end, so I can prove myself as a full-year starter. If I truly believe that I could go out and get a significant contract, if the significant contract isn't there this year, I want to go somewhere for a year and then go back to the market. I just don't think a team is going to want to do that. And if you have the leverage to do that, he's got the leverage to get the kind of contract he's looking for.
How much do you think? How high do you think he'll be in the front of the line when it comes to the quarterbacks that we know could potentially be moved, traded, cut. You got Geno Smith out there. You got Kyler Murray out there. You got Kirk Cousins out there. I'm of the belief Baker Mayfield, if he doesn't get an extension done with Tampa Bay, might force his way out of that situation. And that doesn't even include, we have no idea what's going to be said about Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson at the NFL Combine. I doubt either are going to be on the market. But how high would you rank Malik Willis in the pursuit, these teams' pursuit of quarterback help?
Well, and the key distinction is, do we get the quarterback for nothing as it relates to draft pick compensation, or do we have to finagle the trade? Cousins definitely is going to be cut. I still see people report from time to time that, Cousins going to be cut. Look, when he redid his contract in January, it was clear based on the details, he's going to be cut March 11 or March 12, period. He's going to be available. So that's a guy who's out there if you're looking for a short-term option. Aaron Rodgers and Daniel Jones, technically due to become free agents, although they're expected to stay where they are. There really isn't a robust class of veterans. Kyler Murray, if he's cut, but there's caveats and there's question marks about his health and his effectiveness at this point in his career. Baker Mayfield's an intriguing situation. I mean, he's played very well for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's been underpaid too. That's the reality. In recent years, when competent starting quarterbacks have been available, they haven't gotten big money. The biggest money has gone to guys who are already under contract with teams that want to keep them from the market. When they get to the market, they're not breaking the bank. Baker Mayfield's around 30, 32 million. It was a great deal, especially when the Bucs were 6-2 and flying high last year. It's like, my God, this guy's really underpaid. But even though they crashed and burned, ultimately, he's still underpaid relative to the top of the market. So that's the basic problem. Teams have yet to get to the point where they're willing to pay significant money to guys who aren't already on the team. And I think based upon the Tua contract and some of the others we've seen, some of these teams are going to start realizing they need to say no. Just because we have a quarterback who's played well enough to get another contract doesn't mean we go out there and throw market level money at the guy. Only a small handful deserve that, and look at the problems it creates when you do it and it doesn't work out.
Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk here with us. Mike, Tyreek Hill, obviously in the news here once again as he gets released. Is he going to be playing for someone next season? I know that injury is very, very difficult to come back from. And is it going to be one of the obvious teams like the Chiefs, who I perhaps might be without Rashee Rice after that story surfaced here recently? I don't know how the league's going to treat that one, but probably not good for Rashee Rice, who's had his fair share of problems. So does Tyreek Hill end up in Kansas City?
I think that if Tyreek Hill hadn't had that knee injury on September 29, he likely would have been traded somewhere, possibly to the Chiefs during the 2025 season. We always knew he was going to get cut. They weren't going to pay him $35 million this year, healthy or not, new regime or not. But he's available. I mean, he was cut on Monday. And have you guys seen anything other than the Chris Jones tweet to Cheetah that it's time? There's no group of teams that has emerged from the woodwork to chase down Tyreek Hill. And, there's concerns about what kind of a player he's going to be at age 32 with that serious knee injury that wasn't just a plain old-fashioned ACL tear. And he's got a looming potential personal conduct policy punishment. They've been investigating him dating back to September of last year when his ex-wife created a stir with allegations she made in a civil claim. So he's got that hanging over him. And I think that for now we're seeing that teams are being patient. But, man, if he can get back to full health, even if he's a little diminished, he's still better than what some of these teams that are out there have that could use a boost in the receiving room, whether it's the Chiefs, the Bills, the Chargers, or Mike McDaniel is now, or whether it's just some team that's trying to make a stir like the Saints. They could use a talented deep threat. So it may just be that everyone waits and sees how healthy he is, but I'm a little surprised there hasn't been any firm, oh, yeah, this team is interested or that team's interested. And it may be once the dust settles on where everything currently is in free agency, or maybe even after the draft, because, we hear that the receiving class this year is pretty deep and pretty good, and those guys are pretty cheap. It may not be until after the draft that the market heats up for Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to have to prove that he's back. He can change. He can run at full speed. He can change direction. He's training in Kansas City right now.
Well, we interviewed him. Remember when he did that sudden Super Bowl week?
Oh, yeah.
I apologize to the Dolphins tour.
Yes,
we
the
asked
apology
him if he
tour.
regrets moving. Yeah, we and it just came out of the blue. Like the Thursday of Super Bowl week, producer said, "Hey, we got Tyreek Hill tomorrow." It's like, what? And I think he talked to anybody who would listen as he was trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube after the stuff he said following the last game of the 24 season. But we asked him if he ever regrets leaving Kansas City, and he said that he does. So
absolutely, yeah.
Eric Bieniemy back. It's like they're trying to regather all the heroes to come back.
Put the band back together again for one last run.
Yeah, and it makes sense when you look at how the Chiefs have been unable to effectively replace him. Things were looking good with Rashee Rice. They loved him as a rookie. He picked up the offense faster than Tyreek Hill did in his first year. He came on strong in the postseason, but then he had that street racing incident. He had the knee injury. He's got the domestic violence allegations, and I don't know where that's going to go, but they definitely could use Tyreek Hill. They know they're not going to get the old Tyreek Hill, but I think whatever they get out of Tyreek Hill is going to be better than what some of their current options are at the position.
Never a dull moment here in the NFL. Mike, thank you for the time as always. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next Friday.
Thanks, Dad. See you.
All right, Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk. Boy, there's a lot going on in that league, and there's a lot going on in Miami Gardens with players getting released. A lot of players maybe that might be coming here in the coming days and weeks and months as we lead up to the draft as well. So we'll take a quick
free agency's in 2 weeks, brother.
Yeah, I know.
Around the corner.
It's all coming, man. It's all
the
coming.
Dog and Pony Show in Indianapolis is next week. Then we start shopping. Dolphins, obviously. Steve Ross has to put the credit card away. We got to put things on layaway this year.
You looking forward to the Underwear Olympics?
I love the Underwear Olympics.
I know you do. We're going to talk to Alan Poupar. We'll continue to discuss everything going on with the Dolphins when we come back here on QAM.
Hey, right now I want to tell you about something else that's very, very important, man, your mental health. We've been talking